Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. What if Naruto was in DxD verse and had fallen in love with Sirius MOVIE? Okay brat, it's time for you to take this seriously and summon a goddamn toad. Jiraiya said impatiently as he was fed up. They were going at it for 3 weeks and the brat couldn't summon anything big except for a tadpole. He is worried now. How is he going to pass on the toad contract to the brat like this? It's when he got a wonderful idea. Everything he learned was during a stressful situation, and if he somehow manages to push the brat to a similar situation, Naruto will do it. Okay Naruto, let's try it differently. Follow me, Jiraiya said with a big smile, and they went towards a large cliff after which a small gap led to a pit of darkness. Naruto can't see the bottom. Naruto, stand at the edge, Jiraiya instructed, and Naruto followed and stood at the edge of the cliff. Now try your best and come up only if you could summon a toad. Jiraiya said and pushed Naruto off the cliff into the pit. What, is this a joke or something, pervy sage? Naruto screamed his lungs out, but it was too late already. He can't see anything as the darkness encroached on him. He tried his best, putting all his will into it. Not like this. I don't want to die like this. I need to play many pranks and become Hokage as well. Stop blabbering and summon the damn toad, you good-for-nothing brat. The Kyuubi roared in anger, as he could feel the ground approach. How? Naruto asked hopelessly, appearing in front of the cage, forgetting Jiraiya's instruction about forcing Kyuubi to give chakra. Why? The Kyuubi paused. He wanted to suggest to perform the hand signs and summon the damn toad, but a better idea came to his mind. Why shouldn't he use this as a chance to escape? An evil smile came to his face. It's simple, Naruto. Wish for the things you always wanted and think as if people are loving you and giving you power. He said with a maniacal smile, which was hidden by the shadows in the cage. Imagine as you are surrounded by people you love. You will get all the attention you want then and become the Hokage as well. He made it sweeter with that. Really, I can do that? Naruto asked, starry-eyed. Of course, I will help you as well. The Kyuubi said. He smiled sweetly, masking his malicious chuckle. Agree, brat. He eagerly waited for his vessel's agreement. How is that possible? Are you tricking me, Kyuubi? Naruto asked with narrowed eyes. If you trust me or not is up to you, brat. I know a jutsu that can help you. Seeing I can help, I came forth with it. He shrugged in a disinterested tone. Naruto went to thinking again. It's not like he likes it here or something. But he has Gigi and pervy sage here, though the latter is the reason for his current predicament. He still likes the man. There is no time to contemplate, Naruto. Decide now. The end is approaching, Kyuubi urged. Though time flows differently in the mindscape, the brat doesn't need to know that. Naruto thought about it. Though his Gigi and pervy sage are good, there are very few others who called to him and greeted him growing up. It's not like he knew his parents or they told him to not go anywhere. He was an orphan by the time he understood things, and his life only went downhill after that, as no one wanted to talk to him. His dream of becoming Hokage also came from the desperate need to have some attention. He knew that, at the end of the day, he can't deny, and he knew he is just doing things for some attention. But if what Kyuubi is to be trusted, then he will go to a place where he can have all attention and people to actually fight for. He is going to find some loved ones there and protect them as Haku did. Deciding to wing it, Naruto looked up to the Kyuubi, confidence shining like a star in his eyes. If you are sure of that, then that's fine I guess, Naruto said in a confident tone, and Kyuubi's smile widened. Excellent. Remember, Naruto, you must cooperate with me in this. Just should will yourself to be happy and have friends. Imagine yourself enjoying the moment, and when you feel free, don't open your eyes. Just stay like that for a few minutes. You will know when to open your eyes. He instructed, and with a nod, Naruto closed. Kyuubi's evil smile turned into a shit-eating grin at the foolish brat. But to be safe to let the boy leave, he performed one of the long-forgotten jutsu he saw him perform when he was with him. It was a complicated jutsu and he will lose most of his power, but it's fine as long as he gets free. It's been 100 years already and he is not willing to stay like this any longer. He performed the jutsu, performing the required 317 hand signs, taking what little natural energy he can get. Are you sure of this, Kurama? He heard someone speak and saw an old man in front of him. Oyaji? Kurama asked, shocked as he saw the man for the first time in centuries. Are you that desperate to be free? The old man asked in a sad tone. It's too late, Kurama. His soul already departed from this world. All I can do is guide it to a suitable body. I hope he has a peaceful life in the next one. The old sage said in a somber tone as he pushed Naruto's soul into a world which needed a savior. Naruto felt free as the fox said but followed instructions and didn't open his eyes, suppressing all his curiosity. We are sorry that it had to come to this, Naruto. He heard someone say. Thank you for allowing us to be your parents. He heard the same people say and a wide smile came to his face at that unconsciously. We will always be with you, son. Enjoy your new life to the fullest. We love you, they said. Naruto felt a burden relieved. He smiled widely after that. In his mind, he can somehow see two silhouettes of a man and woman. The man has blonde hair like him while the woman has red hair, which he liked a lot. They are hugging a small baby, crying tears of joy. That image gave much peace to him as if he found a part of himself after all this time. He smiled widely, making the couple jump in joy as they moved on. Their words were so soothing, he felt as if he can happily die now. I'm sorry that it has come to this, son. But I hope you find happiness in your journey ahead. He heard a somber old tone in his head and saw an old man floating in front of him before the old man pushed Naruto towards a bright light he could see. Few moments ago, Sirius, Harry called, trying to protect the man from the dozens of dementors trying to censor the life out of the downed man. Go away, Harry yelled, unable to bear the dark memories they are invoking by their presence and active attempt to censor Sirius's soul. One came very close to Harry and he felt similar to that day on the train as it caught him in his hands. Harry can feel the same coldness spread over his body as the Dementor started to approach. He saw the veil that covered its face fall back and saw the rows upon rows of hungry distorted teeth, coming closer to take him. Harry felt a white sheen form over him as slowly, something misty white came out of his body and went closer to the Dementor's mouth. In a bright flash, Naruto's soul approached the Dementor-infested area with the help of the sage's push. The Dementors turned to the bright source. Though they can't feel any body, they still got attracted to the bright and joyous nature of the thing. But the soul shard in Harry, seeing Naruto's soul as the only viable source, attached itself to him, merging the blonde soul into Harry's body as Harry's soul slowly left his body because of the Dementor kiss. The effects were immediate. Naruto felt warm again and there was he could feel distant vileness. He didn't like the feeling and it pushed it, unconsciously channeling chakra into his hands as if pushing someone from a cliff ironically. The lightning bolt scar on Harry's forehead bled as Voldemort's soul shard got purged by Naruto's potent chakra. A black screeching mass came out of the scar and broke into pieces, unable to withstand the strong force of Naruto's chakra as soon as it came into contact with it. Naruto on the other hand can still use his chakra, but it seems to be mixing with something else. Though he can't put his finger on it, he still has an itch at the back of his brain and decided to get rid of it. His chakra reacted to his will and a potent shockwave of chakra was released, burning through his reserves. He felt serene at last and fell on his back, beside the man he never knew. Hermione came to this scene as the Dementor ran away, unable to withstand the potent magic wave. She saw Harry beside Sirius with a serene smile and quickly took them to Hogwarts. Unknown location. Where am I? A young 13-year boy asked as he found himself in a white railway station that resembles platform 9 3/4 with nothing visible in all directions. You are at a crossroad, Harry. A gentle feminine voice answered him and Harry turned to see the same emerald eyes looking at him with a proud yet sad face. Mom? Harry asked tentatively. He can still remember her face from the times those Dementors painfully reminded him. Yes, Harry, it's me. But that's not the point. Why are you here Lily said gently, putting a hand on Harry's shoulder. I met Sirius, Mom. After he escaped from Azkaban, and to save him, I tried shielding him from Dementors. You tried shielding him from those Dementors. I know. By doing that, you pushed yourself into their way and got the Dementor's kiss. Lily said with concerned eyes. They heard a screech nearby and both of them walked towards a seat in the empty station to see a small scarred baby. It has its flesh burnt as if it is not protecting it and they can see blood ooze out from many wounds. Though the baby is gruesome, it is manageable for Harry. As they were about to say something, the thing gave a deafening screech and latched on to a gold orb that came out of nowhere into the station. "Mom, what's that?" Harry asked, astonished as he didn't see anything like this happen in his life. That's saying something as he saw many things in his short life. "I think it's a soul, son. As yours is removed, that thing is latching to it," Lily said, observing the cursed baby latch on to the gold light, and both of them moved towards Harry. As they merged into Harry, the baby gave another screech and was burnt completely without leaving any trace of it in few seconds of its merger into Harry's body. Harry started glowing gold soon. "What's going on?" Harry asked, confused as his body lost all properties of solidity and started to change into gold particles. "Looks like your soul is liberated from that thing," Lily said with a sad smile. "Then why am I glowing?" "As you couldn't make it back in time to take your body, you are relieved from the human world. The cursed baby managed to push another soul into your body in time, so you are no longer among the alive," Lily explained, and Harry looked at her confused. "You are going to come with us, Harry. There is nothing you can do now. I think the soul that took over your body is very strong-willed, as it took over your body in seconds and got rid of that in short order," she said with a wide smile. "Mom, does this mean—" "Yes, Harry, you can now stay with us and move on to the next great adventure," she said with excitement, though a small tinge of sadness was also there in those emerald eyes. "What's wrong, son? You don't want to be with your family? We are waiting for you for a long time," she asked, tears almost spilling from her eyes. "You want me to die young and move on with you?" Harry asked rhetorically, though he knew the answer. "I know you want me to live for long, Mom. I don't want to disappoint you." "No, Harry. Though I wanted you to live long and happy, I didn't envision it with the Dursleys and with all the other problems that you went through. I wanted my son to have a long and happy life with a lovely family. But the life you went through was not something I thought in my worst nightmares. Though we can't do anything, it's our fault to die like that. We could have done better. But I moved on and it's time for you," Lily said, extending her hand to the young Potter. "I wanted to make you proud. We are proud of you, Harry. I would have long chickened out if I went through everything you had to suffer. Even Sirius left his home as he can't stand his mother's pestering," James said, appearing beside Lily, extending his hand beside hers. "Though I can't tell you everything, the soul that took over your body is not an ordinary one either, Harry. Let him take over and pass on. We can't let you suffer anymore," both of them said at the end, and tears started to fall from Harry's eyes. "Souls are delicate existences, Harry. We have magic to guide us, and the unwritten rule of magic is not to tamper with the soul. The soul is an entity that we can't comprehend, and those who dabble into the vile magic to control their soul never had good things to talk about. Once a soul is ejected from one body, it is imperative that the soul move on. Ghosts are different cases as they continue to live for something they want. It's up to you now, son," Lily explained, and Harry's eyes widened at the knowledge his mother had. "She is a bookworm, yeah," James joked, and Lily nudged him. "I didn't think I would meet you, Mom, Dad. Thank you for coming for me. Can I give him one last message before I come with you?" Harry asked, and both of them nodded. He saw a small opening a few feet away from them, and Harry walked into it. He came into a lush green forest where he can see a blonde man and red-haired woman fading beside a young blonde boy with 3 whiskers. Though he can see them, they didn't notice him, and by the time he reached them, they were completely dispersed. He only heard, "Stay safe, Naruto," at the end. He timidly approached the boy and poked him. He didn't get any response. "Tell him what you want to say and he will hear that," Lily said, and Harry followed. "Hello. I'm not sure if I should thank you or kick you for taking over my body. But all the best. The things I went through are adventurous, to say the least. I hope you can come out alive like me. And be gentle with all my friends, mainly Ron and Hermione, scratch that. I have done enough already, and feeling the freedom I have here, I want you to enjoy our lives together. Being here slowly is making a few things clear to me. But be careful and enjoy twice as much as you normally do." Harry cheered unknowingly, and Naruto smiled at that. Seeing that smile made Harry elated. "Guess he heard everything and agrees with you," James said with a chuckle. They heard a whistling sound and saw a white Hogwarts entering the station. "It's time for us to move on, son," James said. Lily and James stood in the same position, extending their hands towards Harry. Harry went and took 2 hands, without a doubt, and wished luck for Naruto. They went to the Hogwarts Express and boarded it, and soon it started to move. "Bye, Naruto. Make sure to enjoy twice for both of us and don't die," Harry yelled from the train and got a wider smile at that from the unconscious blonde. In Naruto's mind, "I am peaceful at last. It feels oddly satisfying for some reason, and the distant voices wishing me luck oddly make me happy from inside. Guess the fox is not wrong. I can't forget these 2 people, however. A blonde man and a red-haired woman. They seem oddly familiar, and the love in their eyes made my heart flutter. What is this odd feeling of poking I'm getting? What's going on?" Naruto thought as he looked around himself to see infinite darkness, which was fastly replaced by color. "What's going on?" Naruto shouted in his mind. "Outside. Why is he taking this long? It's been a day since he was like this." Ron asked impatiently. Harry would generally recover in a few hours or a day at best, and he was in the hospital wing for more than a day this time. "He was attacked by Dementors, you know. It's not that easy to recover from that," Hermione said, glaring at Ron. Okay, I won't complain," he said with his hands in a placating gesture and started poking Harry with his wand. Hermione noticed. "What are you doing?" she asked, confused by the ginger head's poking. "It's a nifty trick Forge taught me. Apparently, this will wake up anyone from sleep," he said excitedly and continued poking. After a minute, the black-haired boy groaned, unable to concentrate on the serenity he felt anymore. "Nani, what?" he asked groggily, trying to rub the sleep out of his eyes. "Harry," Ron and Hermione said in excitement, but were confused by his word. "Nani, is that a Chinese word?" Hermione asked as she felt she heard it somewhere. "Hi, Ohio," Harry greeted with a wide smile. Hermione thought she saw a blue outline to Harry's emerald and was even more confused. "When did you learn Chinese, mate?" Ron asked, acting like a fish out of water beside Hermione, who was gaping in shock. "Chinese?" Harry asked, and it struck him. He is talking in his mother tongue, and maybe it's the language they call Chinese here. "Wait, I know 2 languages now." Naruto was surprised. He can feel another set of words dancing at the edge of his tongue and tried them. "I didn't learn it, but I saw it on TV," he said doubtfully, and seeing the spark of recognition in the girl's eyes and more confusion from the boys, he was thrown into another loop. "I should have known that your cousin saw anime. So it's Japanese." "Okay," Hermione said with a wide smile, satisfied with herself about the knowledge. "I don't want to know the details," Ron said uninterested, and suddenly, many things hit them. "Harry, mate, you don't know how bad you were injured by those wretched creatures." Professor Dumbledore was furious, and Black escaped as soon as he woke up. And Ron and Hermione started explaining everything in detail, and Harry started to get a headache. By the way, they behaved and talked. Naruto can deduce they are best friends with this Harry guy, the person he assumed he took over. "What should I do now? I need more information to get used to this and know where I am. Maybe acting like I got a headache helps," Naruto thought, and touched his head in pain. "Guys, my head is pounding. Can I have some sleep?" he said with a dramatic slowness, and it worked like a charm, no pun intended. "Blimey, sorry mate," Ron said with a nervous smile. "Rest, Harry, we can talk when you recover," Hermione said with a neutral face and dragged Ron along with her. "Thank God, I managed to not mix the words," Harry thought in relief, and when he was about to sleep, a stern woman appeared beside him. "How are you doing, Mr. Potter?" she asked in a stern tone. "Well," he said doubtfully. She took a wooden stick and did some rings and slashes around him, and it started to glow in certain areas. "You seem to recover fast, Mr. Potter," she said, trying her best to cover the surprise in her voice. "Thank you. I don't like hospitals much," Harry said with a cheeky smile. "Of course, you don't," she said with a huff. "Rest for now. You can join your friends tomorrow." she said in a stern tone and walked off. Harry gave a nod and slept. Okay, I should go over this guy's life today or I'll be in big trouble tomorrow. Naruto thought and dove deep into almost 14 years of Harry Potter's life. As he started going through Harry's memories, Naruto observed many things. Though his life was bad, he at least had his Gigi to help from time to time and Ichirakus to talk to. But Harry had it worse. If losing parents as a child is bad, losing them and subsequently getting pitted with the worst kind of relatives you ever imagine is the worst. If Naruto was in Harry's place, he would have played wild pranks on them and driven them nuts. He shook his head, shaking off the negative thoughts. Harry was not fed enough but was made to do all chores while their good-for-nothing whale son eat and eat and eat. Though Naruto isn't allowed by many shops, he at least had the Ichirakus if he needed to eat anything, and ramen was the food of gods. Speaking of ramen, his stomach gave an involuntary grumble, pleading for the godsend. Naruto suppressed his urge to eat ramen and went through other memories. The next 9 years of Harry's life continued similarly. Woken up violently, made to do all chores, eating what was left and doing chores again. Bullied in school and scolded for bad behavior and being a freak. Though Naruto had enough, he watched forcefully, noticing the stark similarities between their lives as they grew up. It went on until Harry got his Hogwarts acceptance letter. That's when the actual chaos began for the young Potter boy. Naruto felt how scared Harry was when Vernon saw the acceptance letter and the flabbergasted and venomous face of his aunt. He knew Harry was going to get into hell, but surprisingly they told him to forget about it and proceeded to tear off the letter. Though it stung, Harry swallowed and did as told. As he woke up to causally do the morning chores, hundreds of owls greeted him outside, each carrying a letter. Their continued hoots woke up his relatives, and as they saw the parliament and were shell-shocked. Still deciding to not allow such freakishness, Vernon took a series of dumb decisions to push this under the rug. But at last, on the 31st of July, on Harry's birthday, a large man softly barged in and requested Harry to attend Hogwarts with a greeting of his birthday. Their relatives had no option but to relent. Naruto felt the excitement of the young Potter as he was introduced to the magical world and the absurd things that the world held. Naruto was also amazed by many things. Though they are simple, they are very convenient. Though Naruto himself can do many absurd things like tree and water walking, they are high-level things when compared to some self-stirring rods and moving photos. Damn, they were awesome, and Naruto immediately wanted to pose for a moving photo, but as before, controlled himself. His control was surprisingly strong on his emotions and urges. If everything was bursting with joy, he knew the voice in his head won't say all the best to be alive for long. And so curiously he watched as Harry made it to Hogwarts and the conversation with the Sorting Hat. Damn, ghosts spooked him and thoughts about this being fun came into his mind. I'm not going near them. Naruto is determined as he is scared of ghosts. For some reason, the sorting ceremony felt important and Naruto paid extra attention to them. As the sorting ceremony completed, that's when he saw it. The attention Harry had. The whole Gryffindor table congratulated him and the appreciation in their eyes only made his heart flutter in joy. Till then, it was just a small group of people congratulating him, but the reception Harry got when he walked toward Gryffindor was enough for Naruto to carry on for life. Thanks, Kyuubi. If it's not for you, I would have rotted there. He mentally thanked his benefactor and continued going through the memories. After some time, he didn't see anything wrong with the young raven-haired boy's life until he went to Potions class and Dada class. Naruto knew something was fishy in both of them. The grease ball took the best bully award in Naruto's books. Harry isn't just being bullied but also scorned for no reason, and Naruto vowed to prank the bastard so hard that he shouldn't even dare to look him eye to eye. He hates bullies. And Dada, the idiot, had so much garlic. Naruto felt disgusted by nausea the smell is giving him even now. Aside from that, everything was the same until Halloween. Naruto learned a few things on that day and felt the hole in Harry's heart even with many people around. He couldn't comprehend it. No one cheered him when he grew up and helped him except a very few like Iruka-sensei and Ichiraku Oji and Ayame-ne. But despite having many people around, Harry felt a hole in his heart. Why? Is the only question that the blonde wants to be answered. He got his answer after that. Of all the people that were around and cheering for Harry, No one understood him fully as a person and just respected him as a protector and hero who defeated the Dark Lord. Naruto understood for the first time what it feels like to be lonely. Though Harry had many people around him, none of them came close to his heart and understood the young Potter. Naruto on the other hand was alone, but though he felt lonely at times, he had people who understood him and embraced him when needed. Even Harry's friends didn't understand him. While Hermione always supported him and suggested good plans of action and Ron was always on his side, they couldn't understand him. That's when the troll attack happened and Naruto had to stop himself from laughing at the dumb expression of the troll and had to stop from sighing at how close they were to dying. He smiled bitterly, understanding why Harry was amused and wished him luck to survive. But he is Naruto Uzumaki, the unpredictable ninja in Leaf. If he was not, how could he come into this place and take over as Harry? He is confident he will survive against all odds. With that determination and confidence, Naruto went through the rest of 2 years painfully. The second year has scared the shit out of him by the number of ghosts he saw and of course, the basilisk. Naruto lifted his robe to see the small white scar left by the basilisk. Though he had a very high healing factor, even it can't heal a scar like that. Though the phoenix was awesome though. He wanted to ride it so badly after that, maybe he should ask the long-bearded old man for that. Meh, I'm sure the old man can be convinced. He shrugged and went through another uncomfortable summer and this time greeted by a wanted man. Maybe I'll get a new surprise every year then. Came a random thought and Naruto filed it away to think later. As he went through Harry's third year, many things were revealed to him about the Hogsmeade and magical world as a whole and the chilling predictions of thick glasses women. He is fed up with this divination and doesn't know why Harry continued the damn thing. Though he will use his wise brain and words to change the woman, it has long passed that stage and is going to drop it. Though Quidditch matches were amazing. Naruto wants to go and raid the firebolt. It was awesome. Seeing Harry fly in the air like that excited him so much. As he was going to dive into more Quidditch away from large killing snakes and professors, he was drawn towards light, jolting him awake. Nani! He almost yelled but was stopped by a small hand. Great Harry Potter, sir. The thing said in a squeaky tone and Harry looked down to see a small creature with big eyes staring at him in worry. He knew who it was. Naruto saw him a few times. It's Dobby, the house elf. Dobby, he said and Dobby nodded his head. Harry Potter sir is okay? He asked, checking Harry for any wounds or injuries. Yes, I'm okay, Dobby. Shouldn't you be in kitchens, big guy? Harry asked, Naruto switching to his usual speaking style. Dobby want to check if great Harry Potter sir is alright, Dobby responded. That's when the biggest thing in his life wanted to make its presence known. Harry's stomach roared with hunger as it's been more than a day since he last ate. I'm hungry, Harry said with an embarrassed chuckle and Dobby got determined eyes. Dobby can help, he said in a determined tone and when he was about to pop, Harry caught his hand. If possible, can you make ramen? He asked tentatively. Ramen, the noodles with soup, Dobby asked in confusion and Naruto nodded though he didn't get it. Sure, ramen has broth, but that doesn't mean it's soup. Whatever, if he gets ramen, that's enough. Yes, sir. Dobby saluted and vanished in a pop. Harry patiently waited for a few minutes before the house elf popped in front of him with a few bowls of fully cooked ramen. Seeing it brought half life back to Harry's face. Itadakimasu, Harry said, confusing the house elf and dove in with vigor. Dobby brought 5 bowls knowing that's the highest Harry would eat as he observes the Potter from a distance when eating. But the Harry in front of him asked for seconds, thirds and after a full round of 7 full courses, he was full and Dobby watched with surprised eyes as the last Potter swallowed everything. That hits the spot. Thanks, Dobby, Harry said, rubbing his grown belly. Dobby nodded with starry eyes and popped away. I'm not feeling sleepy and this body is extremely underdeveloped. Let's do some exercises. Naruto thought and started with some regular pull-ups and push-ups. As shinobi, they need to be fit. So almost everyone will do minimum daily exercises to keep their body fit and ready to respond to any situation. His Gigi told Naruto to do some exercises when he was feeling bored in his childhood, and though Naruto is not as obsessed with them as Bushy Brows or Bushy Brows Sensei, he likes doing exercise. His stamina only helps him in that, and so he continued doing simple and basic exercises after forgetting to go through other memories. When Madame Pomfrey came to check up on her regular patient, she found him using the beds and tables as workout equipment and juggling with them. "What is the meaning of this, Mr. Potter?" she said in a no-nonsense tone, and as Harry turned to her in confusion, all the furniture fell, breaking in the process. "Oops," Harry said with a sheepish smile. "What are you doing exactly?" she asked again, trying to make the boy answer. "I couldn't sleep and Nani happened, and then Oriva started to do some light exercises and Watashi Tachi here," he said, mixing the two languages, confusing the matron even further. "I didn't think you were contracted with such fatal." Harry recollected what he said and started vehemently nodding his head negative. "I'm sorry, Madame Pomfrey. I have mingled with two languages. Anyway, I started doing exercises after I woke up sometime in the morning," he explained clearly. Though the matron was not convinced, she let it slide for now with narrowed eyes. "I'll check you, and if everything is all right, you can attend classes," she said, and proceeded to move her wooden stick, which he forgot the name of, in all directions like he saw yesterday, and nodded. "You seem all right. Seems like you also gained some weight. That's good. You can go now and make sure to not get into too much trouble," she said with a sigh. Harry Potter and trouble can't be separated from her experience, but she can at least hope. She got a goofy smile in return, which she never saw on the teen's face. "Okay, but I'm sure you will have some patience sooner or later. I'm off." Harry ran, forgetting his robes and wand in the medical wing. As he opened the door, he came face to face with a wizened old man with a long beard. "Old man," Harry yelled in recognition, which surprised the old headmaster. He knew he was old, but no one called him old man this brazenly. Though he smiled widely. "Seems you are all right, my boy," he replied in kind, which made the young teen smile broadly. "As good as new. Can I eat some breakfast now? I'm hungry," Harry asked in a hurry, and Dumbledore nodded. "Thank you. Bye, old man," Harry said, and ran in his casual clothing instead of Hogwarts once. "I think you are missing these, Mr. Potter." Madame Pomfrey walked to the entrance with Harry's robes and got a dabbeo from the raven-haired boy before he came back and took them and ran again. They saw him run into different corridors back and forth, and finally seeing him go into the correct corridor, they relaxed. "He seems oddly energetic, Poppy," Dumbledore said, and the matron sighed. "You should have seen how he was when he woke up. He is juggling with beds and tables." Merlin's beard. "Yeah, and yes, he is more active than usual. He is all right both physically and mentally." "You think being with Dementors had some serious effects on him?" she asked with worry. Though Harry always gets into trouble and lands in the hospital wing, she liked the boy as any other, and being a regular patient, she had a soft spot for him. "I can't be sure about it, Poppy. Maybe this is good as well. I don't want to disturb him, and so I didn't visit him till now. I came to check now," he explained, and Poppy nodded. Both of them continued to think about the same Potter boy for different reasons, and the said boy started creating chaos in the halls already. With Harry. Which hallway again? He thought as he tried to find the great hall to eat something. His stomach started growling again, and nothing is better than eating a good meal after a good workout. He found a large set of doors and walked into it to see what it is, only to come face to face with a blonde Ponce and his two goons. Harry bumped into them, and three of them were thrown back by the force with which Harry knocked into them. "Ah!" the blonde Malfoy groaned as he got knocked back with his two bodyguards by Harry. He checked himself for any wounds, and with the help of Crabbe and Goyle, he stood up to see an amused Potter looking at him with a smirk. "What are you amused about, Potter?" "Nothing. Those were not able to withstand me and you, let's not talk about that," Harry said, and walked past him as if he was nothing. "Why you?" Draco gritted his teeth and pointed his wand at the leaving Potter. "Alart Ascendere," said Draco, shooting a throwing charm at Harry. "Do you think it will hit me?" Harry asked in a cold tone from Malfoy's back, making him almost shit his pants. "Yes. Be like a good little scary cat and get lost," he said a bit forcefully, and Draco with his two large goons ran for their lives, scared of the Potter boy. Trying to prank me like that? Think twice. Prankster King from hell is here. Naruto laughed gleefully in his mind and went to the Great Hall. He forgot about wands and their importance here and doesn't even notice his wand in his robe as he confidently walked into the Great Hall. He got varied reactions from the whole hall and his two friends started waving at him excitedly and calling toward them. He walked to them happily. At last, my friends. Naruto thought as he sat between Ron and Hermione. Several greetings followed and Harry reveled in glory as everyone asked about his health and how things are and everything else. Someone even tried to test his hands and prodded him, and though he didn't say anything, he did feel uncomfortable at that. Soon the greetings stopped and he was given a chance to eat. Seeing all the delicious dishes in front of him, Harry jumped in, eating everything his eyes landed on. For some reason, he was graceful in all this. Harry's disciplined eating may be stronger than Naruto's savagery. And so as soon as he was done, all the dishes vanished, and though Harry saw it many times, he was amazed. The old man at the central table stood up and walked up to the podium to the side and everyone looked at him with attention. Good morning, students. As you have watered and fed, I have some important announcements. Dumbledore said, getting everyone's attention. As you might have known, the whole Sirius Black fiasco is over for us. Unlike last year, your exams will start tomorrow. He got a lot of dams and no's from students from all benches and it suddenly threw Naruto into mortal terror. Wait, I should study now. Damn no, no, no. I don't remember anything other than subject names and they are hard. Why? He ran like a headless chicken in his mind. Here is the schedule for third years. The old man said, Naruto missing the first 2 years in his panic. Wednesday. Transfiguration, charms, arithmancy and study of ancient runes. Thursday. Care of magical creatures, potions, astronomy. Friday. History of magic, herbology. Saturday. Defense against the dark arts, divination, muggle studies. He said and everyone started to talk about the announced schedule and many plans were made at the table. I have read everything. You two should read when I have told you. Hermione said with her nose high up. Harry went into a frenzy at that. I'll leave you with that, students. Enjoy your day, the long-bearded old man said with a wink and left them. Hell broke loose as everyone dashed for the exit. Harry was in his thoughts, trying his best to think of a way to remember something or anything about the subjects or syllabus. Wait, I can do that. It's when Hermione chose to interrupt him. Harry, will you come with me to the library or are you two going to study like last time? She asked as she packed everything she brought. He robotically turned to her. I'll come, he said and went with her, his idea slowly giving him a way to overcome the predicament. A wide smile came to his face after realizing how fun it was going to be when he write exams. As Harry and Hermione moved to the library, Naruto started to tee the plan together. It was a blessing for him and if he used it correctly, he can get out of this without any negative consequences. In his musings, they reached the library and Hermione chose a table for them to sit at and took him towards it. He was back with the world when she called him. Harry, did you complete all your assignments? She asked in almost a pitiful tone. That was like pouring a bucket full of ice water on him, Harry, and he turned to her robotically. Whenever he tried to remember the word assignment in his memories, all he got was some goofy things he did with Ron or running away from life-threatening situations. So he was shocked to hear it. Don't tell me you didn't again, she sighed with a negative nod. Anyo, I can complete them now, he asked with a doubtful smile which got another disappointed look from the bushy-haired girl. Prepare well for exams at least. That will give you enough grades to pass, she said in an uninterested tone and started doing her work. Naruto was outraged by her behavior. What is she thinking about me? I'm Uzumaki Naruto, the awesome ninja. I can do anything. And why does she sound like Sakura? Naruto thought in his mind. Not wanting to be distracted anymore, he focused on his plan. So I take all these books to an empty room and try it there and see what happens. After finalizing, he nodded to himself and took the copies of all the books Hermione had with him. As he doesn't know which books are for what, he came with her to confirm and after seeing all of them, he took them and moved out. Hermione didn't stop him as he moved out of the library as she is accustomed to Harry and Ron goofing off. He started his search for an out-of-the-way empty classroom. Harry saw one at the end of the floor and went in. He looked around for people, and after making sure the classroom was empty, he put all the books on the table and locked the door to not get found. Okay Naruto, now to get started. Let's try doing it normally. He thought and made a familiar cross sign. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Shadow Clone Jutsu, he called out. Nothing happened for a second. Harry felt disappointed but didn't give up. He tried again and again, and after 6 tries, he felt something in his shake. What is that? I felt as if something broke in my body. Harry said aloud in Japanese and tried again. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, he said with more focus, and with a loud puff of smoke, 10 clones appeared in front of him. Yo, boss! All the clones saluted in unison. Harry hugged all of them tightly in joy. If there is something he missed coming here, that would be using his clones. So my chakra is intact. He exclaimed happily. Boss. His clones said, and they all did a victory dance. So something in me blocked my chakra, and tearing it took time for my clones to form. Guess everything is all right now. Naruto thought happily. What he thought has merit as body transition is not a normal occurrence, and while his chakra came with him in some part, it can't be easily accessed as before, as Harry's body is not accustomed to it. As Naruto took over Harry's body, the chakra that came with him started to dominate the subtle magic that Harry had and overwhelmed it. But since Naruto didn't have much control of his reserves and the amount that came with him was very insignificant compared to his normal reserves, it blended well with the innate magic Harry had. So in essence, what Harry currently has is a weird mix of both chakra and magic, working better than either alone could, and thus giving Naruto the potential to do things both magicals and ninjas can't do. The happy green-eyed boy came back to reality and started explaining his plan to his clones. Though he is disappointed by the mere 10 that he was able to do, he knows he will improve. Okay guys, let's start with chakra control for once. Try to walk around the castle. Our main objective is to steal the question papers. Coming back to school is a headache, and I don't want to fail exams again. Failing the Shinobi Academy 3 times is enough for me, Harry said with a nervous HMPH, and his clones nodded in sympathy. Though they all know if the original didn't fail the exam he wouldn't have found the scroll and subsequently the jutsu, they kept quiet. And we have to master that water walking as well. There is a cool lake here, I want to walk on it. Naruto said with starry eyes, and his eyes nodded in determination. So you go around the castle and steal tomorrow's question papers while I try to remember all the letters they write here. School is hard guys. Harry whined, and his clones agreed and started to move. Wait. Try tree walking here on the walls first and go in the night, idiots. The visibility will be low and you won't be found easily then. The original said, making all the clones look at him in shock as if he grew a second head. You are acting rather intelligent, boss, one of them pointed. I'm Uzumaki Naruto after all. I'm cool like that. He laughed boisterously and started practicing the alphabet and writing words. His clones started practicing tree walking on the walls of the class as a few hours passed. There were many things they found in the few hours of training. 1. It was easy for them to stick to the walls of the room and they are spending less chakra. 2. They can stick to the surface for longer than they used to in the shinobi world but feel tired quickly as well. And lastly, they all managed to learn the alphabet and words quickly while the clones joined the original halfway in completing the assignments and finished half of them. Most of the assignments they were given are available on different pages of the materials, and all they did was copy and paste it from there to the papers, which they call parchments here. Naruto found the hardest subjects for him were potions and astronomy, while Dada and ancient runes felt very easy for him. He knew Harry was good at Dada, but not ancient runes. They are like the seals he saw in the shinobi world but a bit more advanced, though he didn't know that much about seals. But they felt easy for him. Harry looked at his stomach, which lacked a certain spiral seal. Harry smiled fondly at the memories he had with his parents and continued his work till lunch. His stomach growled in protest and Harry left to eat lunch after warning his clones to not goof around. With clones. Man, all these subjects are easy to write except for these potions. What's wrong with this dumb subject? One of the clones asked in exasperation. I know, right? This just goes on increasing in complexity. Guess we know the first target of our mission tonight. Pull out that map, another clone said, and all of them looked at the Marauder's map. I solemnly swear, I'm up to no good. One of them said, and the map revealed everything. I think we can be good friends with Fred and George. A clone said. All of them snickered at that. Well, we are here. The potions class is in the dungeons while McGonagall's office is here. And Charm's here. Damn, we have a complicated route. The clone, looking at the map, said. They started to draw the sequence in which they are going to go take the test papers, and by the time the original completed his lunch and returned, the clones made a solid plan. Harry walked in to see his clones cheering for something and got curious. What are all you cheering for? He asked. We prepared the plan of action for tonight's operation, boss. The clone in front of him said smugly. Brilliant. Care to share? He asked with a mischievous smirk, and his clones nodded and started explaining the plan. So we start at 10 when everyone is sleeping and then go to. The plan explanation went on, and Harry got more and more excited as the plan unfolded. The map was just a blessing to them, and he agreed with his clones and approved the plan. So what if the professors don't put the paper in their classroom? One of them asked. Then we will move to their office and search. I'm sure they will have a copy of it in their office. Also, use as little magic as possible. I don't know how our chakra works in this world and if they have any way to find whose magic is used. So be sneaky like a ninja and we can do it. I'm gonna pass the exam with at least an E. The original said, and clones chorused his determination. Let's make this place our makeshift HQ for now. There seem to be fewer people around. A clone said, and all Harrys nodded. While the original started tinkering with the potions assignment, the clones started practicing other basic jutsu they know, like substitution and transformation. Surprisingly, like the shadow clones, Naruto was able to do both of them as well, and they made the final adjustments to the plan as the night fell. One of the clones went to the Gryffindor Tower to replace the original. After dinner, they started executing their plan while the original stayed in their temporary headquarters to study the subjects as he can't remember them. They are divided into a team of 9. 1, in which the 9 clones separate and break into all subject classes at the same time and copy the question paper to leave as few clues as possible. While the original will mark the questions and start preparing for them in the HQ. The 9 clones will dispel after they bring the questions to the original. The 10th clone already went to replace the original in the dorms. So it's perfect. Anyone won't doubt him as he ate and slept with everyone, and they will have the paper and write the exams well. Win-win situation. Harry didn't try making more clones as he thought 10 were enough for now, and he felt somewhat out of breath from all the exercises and chakra the clones spent throughout the day. So he didn't think of experimenting now. He had unintentionally brought arithmancy books as well, which he didn't pick as elective. But it interested him better than divination, at least. All the book said was how the griffin was a bad sign and more on that. Naruto felt that to be too boring and so thought of writing arithmancy instead of divination. Oh, the fun. With that final happy thought, the clock struck 11 and the clones sprang into action. They all transformed themselves into different birds using transformation and started flying in different directions. They felt a bit off when they transformed, as if their body was being restructured to fit that of the animal, which is weird as they didn't have that kind of feeling in the shinobi world. There are a few peculiarities they observed as well, which they couldn't remember now for some reason, and so with the only thought of getting the question papers, they sprang into action while the original eagerly waited. With Clone 1. The first clone was tasked to take the transfiguration paper, and so he made his way toward the transfiguration class in the form of a small rock pigeon and easily sneaked into the class. The small bird looked around for anyone and waited for a few minutes before it started rummaging through the belongings at the professor's desk where Professor McGonagall would usually do her work. After 10 minutes of searching, he found nothing but useless papers and some transfiguration parchment. A thick parchment fell from the table where he found an important detail. He slapped himself for not thinking of this and rearranged all the papers in the same order as far as he can remember and changed into the pigeon again and flew off. With Clone 2. The second clone charged himself with bringing the potions paper as he thought himself to be the most evasive of the 10 clones and no one objected. Befitting the Slytherins, he changed himself into a cobra and slithered towards the dungeons in search of the potions class. As he reached the potions class, he was assaulted with the putrid smell of the many failed potions and uncleaned class. He would have been dispelled if not for his fierce determination to take the paper and pass the exam. He slowly slithered in, making his way toward the bat's roost in search of anything resembling the potion's paper. He changed into Naruto to be unrecognizable and rummaged through the desk for anything. All he got was empty desks and the creaking sound of the broken wooden desks. He saw the light flicker in the adjacent room and changed into a bat. He thought it would be fitting. He flew towards the exit, and when he was about to exit, he saw a flash of something before he felt pain. With other clones. The other clones reached their respective destinations and broke into the offices of the professors and rummaged through the belongings and desks of the professors for the paper. While the first clone was on his way to the original and almost reached the room when they all felt something. With second clone, Naruto knew he was hit by a spell by the bat and screeched in agony. He didn't dispel there immediately but moved out of the room before dispelling. Snape didn't bother to see if the bat was dead or not. He knew it would be, and so he went to his room to retire. All the black incidents gave him enough headache. But the satisfaction that came after busting Lupin's werewolf side to the world made him smile victoriously. He can let a little bad die after his accomplishments in the last year, and with the toughness of the paper he set, he knew the Potter boy will follow his moony uncle. With that convincing thought, Snape retired for the day, cherishing the happy memories he made in his childhood with a ginger-haired girl. With original and clones. As the second clone dispelled, all the other clones including the original were flooded with memories, and the shock from the memories was enough to dispel all other clones including the one replacing Harry in the dorm. The sudden shock followed by even more memories sent Harry's brain into overdrive and knocked him out. The sheer memories he got were outlandish. What is this feeling? This sensation of being hit by a spell is overwhelming, as if I was hit by it directly. Naruto yelled, appearing in his mindscape. The sensations that followed are nothing to laugh at. He can't figure out how. He knew the memories belonged to his second clone, which went to the potions class. He remembered everything including the putrid smell the class gave at the entrance. How is this possible? It's the same shadow clone jutsu and the same execution. Why did I get the clone's memories including the pain it felt before dispelling? Perhaps I didn't realize it till now. A stray thought came. Maybe. But I also got all the other clones' memories as well. Let's test this out, he thought, and woke from his unconscious state. Shadow clone jutsu, Harry said, and two clones puffed into existence. You two go outside and do something and dispel, he ordered, and the two clones followed the order and went out of the room. After a few minutes, Harry got a series of events, the memories of what his clones did. He went through them. They went out and saw Filch patrolling the corridors and baited Ms. Norris and hid some stink bombs on her they had on hand and sent her back to Filch. Filch took her unsuspecting and was bombarded with stink bombs. The two clones dispelled in laughter and the flabbergasted expression Filch gave after that. The original laughed his ass off at the memory and confirmed his theory. So the shadow clones can transfer memories when dispelled. He nodded to himself in joy, as now he had a mighty weapon at hand. After coming back from his hysteria, Harry continued with his plan and made 9 clones again. Well boys, we got something new now and a new task. From the memories of the first clone, I think we should go to McGonagall's office as she oversees the exams. I'm sure we'll find all the papers there, Harry said with a happy smile. That's just perfect. Guess the schedule she had at the transfiguration desk helped us. Let's go boys. We now know where we will get the papers, said a clone cheerfully. Wait, you idiots, I'm not done yet, he called, and his clones turned to him in attention. You are not going to steal them. All of you will remember the questions or concepts so that anyone won't doubt us about the sudden increase in scores and investigate the whole thing, he said with a steel face, and the clones nodded. Aye, boss. With a final nod, they left the HQ and made their way to the deputy headmistress's office. Harry sent another clone to replace him in the Gryffindor dorms and waited patiently for the memories to hit him. He sat in a relaxed position to not get overwhelmed. All the clones reached the deputy headmistress's office with ease and were not discovered by anyone as they all changed into different animals to reach there. Making sure that no one is watching them, they all transformed back into Naruto form to not get caught and started rummaging through the piles upon piles of papers. Why does she have these many papers? One of the clones asked in frustration. Guess this is like Gigi's job. Another clone soothed, and they all agreed, continuing their search silently. There is a large stack of parchments to the side of the table that a clone noticed and walked towards it. As a Lumos charm hovered above them, it followed him and he read the thread around the parchment. Students' examination papers year 4, he read loudly and all clones were beside him immediately. They all moved their eyes along and continued reading the stacks that followed. Year 6, Year 2, Year 1 and finally, Year 3. They stopped there but noticed 2 more stacks beside theirs which they assumed as owls and newts. They took the top parchment from the Year 3 stack. Write an essay about the hardening charm and its applicability. Also, elaborate with an example where this charm can be used. Read the first question and Harry knew this was discussed somewhere in his yearbooks and one clone picked it. The stack was divided into sections by cross-arrangement of papers and understanding what that means, they lifted the stack to get the important questions of each subject. The order was also according to their exam schedule which benefited them a lot and after an hour of hard work in learning the questions, the clones went to the original with some important questions. With original, Harry was waiting for memories to hit and study but none came. He waited patiently for them but after an hour, he heard footsteps and hid behind the door, to surprise attack only to see his clones walk in with proud smiles. "Why are you here?" he asked incredulously. "We got it, boss," a clone said with a wide smile. "Here you go," another clone said and put a parchment with some scribbled questions in the original's hands. The original's eyes widened. "My clones had grown as well," he said with tears of joy. He was doubtful of memory as he wasn't good at studying and remembering, maybe except for Dada. Now with the questions written, he can easily prepare them and pass. In addition to those, we also got some questions for next year as well, a clone said, giving a few more parchments of questions. Harry looked at them with a blank face. "Where did you get all this parchment from?" he asked with a nervous face and all the clones smiled widely. "We took from the stacks in the office," a clone said with a wide smile as if it was an intelligent decision. Harry's eyes widened at that. "You dumb morons. What if these have tracking charms on them? Immediately copy these and burn them as soon as possible," he ordered and they all started to run like headless chickens in search of quills. It's difficult to write with quills for them and the already chicken scribbling they got was worsened. After copying everything, they burnt everything and left the room, not leaving a trace of who stayed there in search of a new HQ. Next morning, Minerva McGonagall is a woman of punctuality. She walked into her office to prepare the question papers to be distributed for the exams which are going to take place in a few hours. With a single flick of her wand, all papers started to stack themselves into sets, year-wise as per schedule. As she was going to make the last touches and make sure everything was perfectly ordered, she noticed something. The answer script's parchment is lower than it should be and she went in to investigate. She knew she counted everything last night and arranged them ready for the exams. She scanned other papers for anything missing and found nothing out of place. Even the last one she made was in order. Only the answer scripts are missing. She thought of possibilities. She knew it was nigh impossible for someone to sneak in as there is a special ward protecting the school. And the headmaster will be immediately alerted. She knew there is no chance of Fred and George pranking them as they can't get past her defenses for the room. There is no possible outcome that she can think of for this. Though she is not one to forget things, she attributed this mistake to her old age and after adding the missing answer scripts and she sent them to the examination hall. With Harry woke up in high spirits and prepared for the day. He walked into the Gryffindor common room with confidence, ready to face the exams and saw his 2 feet friends, talking. "Harry, mate, where were we yesterday? I didn't see you anywhere," Ron asked, at which Hermione turned to him as well. "I studied as much as I could," Harry said with a shrug. "Are you all right, mate?" Ron asked with surprise. Harry raised an eyebrow at that. "Yes, I'm perfectly all right. I just need to eat breakfast and I'm sure all right well," Harry said and Ron nodded dumbly, not wanting to stress his brain. Hermione on the other hand observed everything Harry did carefully as she did see something out of place but didn't focus on it as breakfast time approached. "Well everyone, all the best," Harry said cheerfully and walked out of the common room to the Great Hall. After eating above his usual amount, Harry sat in his chair in the Great Hall with other year's students to take the exams. The great hall was expanded on all sides to accommodate the 5 year students, with each having a desk, parchment and quill on their table respectively. Harry sat in the 7th row of the 9th column, which he didn't mind, and his normal exam spot was based on his name and month. He is eager to write exams and show his intelligence to the world. Please submit all your assignments, students. Professor Flitwick said, and all the assignments they put on the right side of their desk flew to the diminutive professor. Is that all? He asked to confirm, as he didn't get any objections. He took them for grading. Harry saw all this with starry eyes. He didn't see magic used after he woke up. What he saw was just awesome. A thought that cheered it came to him after seeing the assignments being taken. Yes, soon I'll be at the top. Naruto thought excitedly. He saw professors distribute answer scripts for them to fill in the details like their roll number and name, while Professor McGonagall explained the process. Students, Professor McGonagall called, and everyone looked up to see the deputy headmistress. As you all are aware, passing the year-end exams is crucial for you, as that allows you to get promoted into the next year. I know most of you are aware of all rules, but for first years, I'll go through them once. She started and explained all the rules to be followed during the examinations. And finally, no wands will be used during the theory portion of the exam, and you'll lose 10 points for your house for every offense you commit. I wish you all the best. Let the examinations begin, she said, and they all heard a bell chiming, signifying the beginning of the examinations. Let the year-end examinations of 1993-1994 begin, Professor McGonagall said, and everyone heard a bell chiming, signifying the beginning of the examinations. The questions were distributed, and Harry saw the transfiguration paper and smirked in his mind. Perfect. Now let's get started, he thought, laxly going through the paper. Exam after exam, he wrote all of them with ease and made sure to make mistakes in some places to not raise any suspicion about his sudden intelligence, and the week passed in remembering and writing the papers for Harry. When he was about to relax, he was told about the practical part of the exam, where they have to perform at least one of the assignments they were taught during the year. He sighed at that. Great. Just what I want now. He facepalmed. Harry was a headless chicken on that day. Though to his fortune, his name is in the middle of the group, so he is half safe, as he can learn from other students who are doing and his clones learn simultaneously. Though he acted out of character, his friends were no worse, as they didn't find anything wrong with him, and even though he was acting more idiotic like Ron, Harry knew the ginger head is a bad influence on him. Harry decided to think things through after all this was over, as he has enough on his hands now. He is adapting to this world, but it was a bad time for him, as he didn't have much time. That was also a blessing, as he won't interact with many due to everyone worrying about exams, and he can adjust by the time they actually pay attention. Mr. Potter, please come here, Professor Sprout called, and Harry moved towards her. It was their herbology practical time, and Naruto knew something about plants as he used to grow them, but he didn't know anything about the magical plants in front of him. Mr. Potter, can you make these plants grow faster? She asked in a calm tone, and Harry's brain burst into activity to remember the spell and found it from a memory when Neville showed him, and Harry took his wand out and used the spell. He felt something off with the wand. Naruto can remember the feeling Harry got when he held his wand, but this feeling he was getting was like dead wood, which fell from a tree, no longer useful. The feeling gave Harry involuntary shudders, as the holly wand with phoenix feather was his first wand and he liked it so much. He pushed through the feeling and used the spell, and it was successful. The plants grew a few inches instead of a good few feet. He knew they should from his previous attempts, but he got an approving look from Professor Sprout nonetheless. Excellent, Mr. Potter. Now tell me, what is this plant and what does it do? Extra marks if you can perform what it is used for, she asked, showing a cactus-like plant, and Harry knew what it was. Neville was very nervous to show it, but he finally showed him what the plant was and went on an hour-long lecture about its uses. He must thank Neville. The Mimbulus Mimbletonia was a very rare magical plant, surmised to have originated in Assyria. It was most notable for its pulsating and squirming nature and its unique defense mechanism. When prodded, a substance called stinksap was squirted out from the boils on the surface of the plant. Stinksap was a non-poisonous liquid and was described as dark green and smelling like rancid manure. Harry said confidently. He poked one of the boils, and as explained, stinksap was released. Though everyone didn't like the look of it, they endured and Harry was satisfied that he did well as his assessment was done. Everyone's test was soon completed and they headed to the dungeons for potions practicals. Harry dreaded this most of all because of many things. The main reason will always be his dislike of the professor and their mutual interest in it. Both didn't like each other though Harry followed after the man started in his first year. Snape has this particular murderous expression as if he wants to kill Harry yet can't bring himself to do it for some reason. Harry didn't want to know why and ignored his existence mostly. Even now, he knows he will get a B at best and an A if the man is feeling generous, which he always won't. Then comes the incident of his stunt. Harry can still feel the phantom pain and effort his bat clone had to put in after being shot by the grease ball, and though he can't spill it out, he wants to take revenge in some way. That's when Harry got an idea. His mischievous smile was noticed by none, even a grieving Ron, who can't keep up with the Potter boy in speed. They all soon reached the potions class and got into their normal potions positions. So you all are confident that you can pass the practical. I verified your scripts and your performance was abysmal as usual. I shouldn't have expected more from a bunch of dunderheads like you. Snape said with a sneer. Make 3 vials of shrinking potion and Potter, and make 2 vials of witch sharpening potion as well. I'll store it for you when you come next year, Snape said from his table, and as this is a practical exam, all ingredients were already arranged on their tables. Harry knew how his ingredients would be and didn't bother using them. He walked up to the ingredients drawer and picked the good ones from the available few and arranged them in order. A blonde girl from Slytherin was brewing her potion before him and Harry didn't mind her and started brewing his. As he knew he will be asked to brew something advanced, he learned some of the more difficult potions of Year 4. The potions Snape asked were not on the checklist of the question paper, and Harry knew better than to trust a question paper when it comes to Snape. He knew how the shrinking potion works as poor Neville was badly traumatized by it during a class this year and started brewing it. If his result was acid green, he was successful. With that thought in mind, Harry started when the memories of his clones hit him. He closed his eyes to reduce the strain on his mind and went through the ingredients and instructions. Ingredients: minced daisy roots, peeled shrivelfig, sliced caterpillars, 1 rat spleen, a dash of leech juice, a splash of cowbane, wormwood. There was something about the inventor and stuff about how skilled he was, and then followed the instructions. Brewing instructions: juice 2 shrivelfigs and add their ruby blood to your cauldron. Stir slowly. Closing parenthesis. Gently heat your potion. Chop 4 daisy roots more finely and add to the cauldron. Add 5 hairy caterpillars. Add well shaken wormwood. Stir vigorously. Juice 4 leeches and add. Stir slowly and with caution. Shake rat spleen and add to cauldron. Add a splash of cowbane. Stir slowly. Closing parenthesis. Heat at a high temperature. Cast the shrinking charm. The potion turned green and Harry was happy with it. He filled them in vials and started making the second portion. The witch sharpening potion. A new set of memories hit him and he started making the potion. He observed how the blonde girl was looking at him in interest and turned to her with a charming smirk and arranged his ingredients. It was a difficult potion as it is Owl's level 1, and Harry tried his best. Witch sharpening potion. Ingredients: ground scarab beetles, cut ginger roots, armadillo bile, newt spleens. Brewing instructions: this potion is completed in a cauldron. Mix in ginger root until lime green. Mix armadillo bile until blue. Mix ground scarab beetles until red. Remix armadillo bile until the red liquid is yellow, not dark green. Remix ginger roots until the brew is lime green. Mix armadillo bile until the potion is purple. Harry carefully followed all instructions and patiently waited for the potion to complete. After following through with everything, his potion turned pink instead of purple and he lost hope at that. He sighed and started transferring it to a vial when it turned purple, which made him almost drop a vial. He knew he saw something move, but was not clear and shrugged it as his luck. Harry caught the vial before it spilt and carefully scanned it. It is a perfect purple, which means the potion was successful. Most of the class was looking at him in interest as their one potion was completed, and Snape also noticed his near drop. Can't you properly care for a potion, Potter? 10 points from Gryffindor. Now put your submissions with your name labeled on them and get lost. He ordered, and everyone did as instructed and left. Even the Slytherins in the room were scared of the man and didn't question him, including Draco, who didn't brew any potion. They reached the Great Hall for lunch. Harry didn't show any visible anger and everyone was surprised by it. Harry would generally be angry at the git and will be showing his frustration. But Harry in front of them had a smile. They didn't know what to worry about. Harry, who is not showing emotions, or Snape, who is being his normal self and decided to go with the latter and worried about the Slytherin head, knowing Harry will bounce back. No one came forward to ask if anything was wrong with the Potter child. They went their own ways and this only proved Harry Potter's loneliness to the otherworldly ninja. Should have known they won't care about me. Naruto screamed in his mind and went to eat lunch. It was a quiet affair as everyone talked about their practical exams, including Ron and Hermione, who left him alone. Harry ate his lunch and determined one thing. If he is going to have friends, they are going to be true friends, unlike the people around him. He silently walked towards the temporary headquarters he made as he still had some time before the Transfiguration exam. He didn't know if he liked solitude or not, as he always craved attention in the shinobi world. He got that attention here, but it is with a drawback. They only care when he is needed. Like when people are in danger, they want someone to be their savior, and that will be him. When things are going all right and they are happy, they don't give a damn about the same savior and even ignore him. What hypocrisy! I should have known better than to think they would care for me and my health. Everything happened last year and this year is just the proof required. Naruto thought, shaking his head. They were sheep, they will be sheep. They always trust the butcher and accuse the shepherd, is a saying Harry remembered reading. He lost in the accuracy of the saying for the rest of the break. The bell chimed, signifying the start of the exam, and Harry scrambled to reach the Transfiguration class. He knew he would be late, but he tried. Transfiguration class. Potter, Harry, Professor McGonagall called. But she didn't get any reply. She looked up and scanned the class for the raven-haired boy. She didn't find him. Harry is missing since Loon. May I come in, Professor? Harry asked, a bit out of breath. McGonagall gave him a second to recover, and after he recovered, she let him in. Can you explain what an animagus is, Mr. Potter? She asked as he took one of the empty seats. Harry nodded. An animagus is a witch or wizard who can transform themselves into an animal and back again at will. It was a learned skill, unlike the hereditary. We have a total of 7 known animagi. Harry quoted and everyone clapped. McGonagall gave him an approving nod. After that small test, she started on their practicals. Students, you will be turning an owl to opera glass and show me the Draconifer's spell for your practical portion. Please step forward when I call your name, she said and started calling at random. Few hours later, as the Transfiguration practical is over, it marks the end of all exams as their Dada practicals were cancelled following the tradition of all years of Harry's study at Hogwarts. Since his first year, Dada practicals didn't take place once. First year it was Quirrell dying. Second year Lockhart lost his memories and Dumbledore cancelled all exams, and now they heard Professor Lupin resigned from his job. It's as if someone jinxed the post of Dada or something. With a shake of his head, Harry tuned into the year-end feast. He dug in and filled his stomach to the brim with whatever food he could see and had a happy face when the headmaster started speaking. Now that your hunger and thirst were taken care of, let's talk about the events that transpired in the last year. Before that, as you all know, your results will be delivered with the next year's book list in July. Unfortunately, Professor Lupin has officially resigned from his job due to personal reasons. He said with disappointment and gave a dramatic pause. As you all know, this year has not been an easy one with Dementors and Sirius Black's break-in during the school. We all have to go through so many things that may be seen as unimaginable to others, but remember students, experience is a good teacher. Learn from it, Dumbledore said with a wide smile. Now, it's finally time to announce the House Cup. Dumbledore saw the excitement in all students as they started talking about the House Cup with their friends. He announced all the points for the year, which resulted in Ravenclaw being first, followed by Gryffindor and Hufflepuff, with Slytherin being last. Everyone knew what follows, and the Slytherins started grinding their teeth as the headmaster started speaking. As for the additions, I would like to give 50 points to both Slytherin and Gryffindor for their excellent conduct and sportsmanship, said Dumbledore with a smile. What he said surprised everyone, even Snape. The old man is not generally the one to give points to Slytherin from his past experiences. But Snape saw through his ruse. It's just other ways he cooked to give points to those brainless lions. Students who didn't know Dumbledore enough, aka first years, thought he was being fair, poor souls. Dumbledore turned to the staff table after that, prompting them to continue. I have no additions to make this year. Professor Flitwick spoke first with a sigh. Yes, I do not have any additions either. McGonagall continued, fed up with the headmaster's last-moment additions and tipping the scales. I will give 25 points to Gryffindor, said Professor Sprout. Though she is as fed up as McGonagall on the matter, she liked the kids and Neville's performance demands it. And the attention shifted to Snape. He had his patented scowl on his face. No additions, he said, further disappointing the headmaster, whose twinkling eyes dimmed at the rejection of his wonderful plan for Gryffindor's victory. Though the additions were considerate, Gryffindor is still behind Ravenclaw, and so, the winner of this year's House Cup is Ravenclaw. Dumbledore said excitedly, and the banners changed to the colors of Ravenclaw and all the students at Ravenclaw table cheered. They all were happy that they at least escaped the last-minute additions, which became a nuisance to them as everything they worked hard during the year will go down the drain with Gryffindor swooping in and grabbing the cup every year. Now the fair system revealed the true winners. Puffs are joyous as well as their friends at Ravenclaw won the cup and not the chaotic Gryffindors again. Though they made a mistake last year, they apologized and didn't have the same guilt pushing them this year. The Slytherins were very vocal about their joy as their rivals didn't win the cup. If their head of house giving points for simple things annoyed some, the headmaster making some last-minute voodoo and pushing the cup to Gryffindors annoyed everyone. I call upon the head boy and head girl to hand over the cup to the Ravenclaw, Dumbledore announced, and the cup was revealed, which shocked everyone. Sir, the cup is not there, Professor McGonagall said as the headmaster was posing and twinkling to the students. The speed at which he turned his head would have killed anyone. What? Dumbledore's voice thundered across the great hall, shocking many as they thought the old man was tricking them till now. Immediately, all eyes turned to cackling Weasley twins. Though the house cup was not there, they replaced it with a note that said, "My revenge for your past actions." Now have fun with a weird yellow paint blob on it. Having many eyes on them made the prankster twins nervous. Go bring the spare cup, Dumbledore ordered as he can't find a solution to the problem until the thief is found, and the spare cup was presented to Ravenclaw, everyone clapping for their performance while a certain Potter can't stop himself. Dumbledore knew the Weasley twins won't do something high-level like this, but he never know. He will definitely have a look into the school's security wards and make some changes as Sirius's break-in twice already painted a bad image on him. He did his duty and congratulated the Ravenclaws and let them continue their celebration. Things don't look good, but he is Albus Dumbledore for a reason. That thought gave him much relief and he oversaw the celebrations. Harry, on the other hand, had to bite his tongue to stop himself from laughing. The dumbfounded faces of Fred and George are irresistible to stop himself, and Percy's expression wasn't far as well. After the cup presentation was over and it was sent to the trophy room, everyone started moving to the Hogsmeade station for the summer. Hogwarts will be waiting for you with open doors next year. Enjoy the summer, students. Dumbledore gave his send-off as the Hogwarts Express departed from the Hogsmeade station to London. A certain Potter was dancing in joy as he managed to keep his cover while his two friends dragged him around the carriages to talk with their friends. Damn it, I can't lose these two, Naruto grumbled as he followed them to more awkward conversations. Though he is happy that the summer started and he can relax now. Are you okay, Harry? Ron asked as they walked through the carriages in search of an empty one. What do you mean by that? Harry asked, turning to the ginger head. He meant you were oddly eating more and surprisingly wrote exams well, Hermione answered. Though the condescending tone was not lost on Harry, who narrowed his eyes. I thought of trying my best and I never said I wrote exams well, Harry said with his trademark smile, ear to ear. That's creepy, Ron said, unable to control himself. Harry laughed at their gassed faces. They finally found a carriage, but it had a girl in it, and seeing how they reached the end of the train, they went in. Can we enter? Hermione asked, poking her head in. You can, the girl in question turned to reply, and it is the same blonde girl that's curious about Harry's potion. Greengrass, Ron said in surprise, though as Hermione was already in, Harry followed her. Seeing that he had to walk back to Forge or be alone, Ron entered. It's a surprise to see that the great Harry Potter doesn't have a place to sit. She giggled. It's not like that, really. We were in search of an empty car and seeing there was none, we came in. Harry replied casually and Ron looked at him in horror, Hermione not far behind him. Am I dreaming? Greengrass asked in surprise. What happened? Harry asked, scratching his head. From Harry's memories, he doesn't have any beef with this girl to be a prick about. Well, as you are Gryffindor, I thought you won't like to talk to me seeing I'm a Slytherin, Daphne explained. Huh, Nani, isn't school over? Why do I care if you are a Slytherin outside school? Unless you are Malfoy or that greasy bat, Harry said with a confused face, and that broke the tension as everyone got Harry's reference to that bat. The other three burst out laughing. You know, if they heard you, they'll hunt you, Greengrass said. That's not new honestly, even now, Malfoy is just there trying to get in. Harry pointed, and as they turned, Malfoy can be seen shouting and banging on the door to open it. Open your damn door, Draco exclaimed, sending his whales to attack it. Alohomora, Harry said, and the door opened. Crabbe and Goyle fell to the ground as they couldn't stop. I didn't think you were here seeking forgiveness, Draco, Harry said with a smirk. I would have opened the door long before if I had known. He added, making Malfoy's face go red in anger. Why you? Draco said, pulling out his wand. Why stress on remembering spells you don't know? I'm not here for you, Potter. Greengrass. Why are you sitting with these Mew idiots? Draco changed his sentence, seeing how Harry was ready to kick his lights out. As if I would answer you. Get out of my sight. Daphne said with a huff and turned away. Draco was frustrated beyond limits and pulled his wand out. Al, that's not how you do things on my watch, Harry said and punched Draco in the face. The punch hit a little harder than Harry expected, and Draco hit the window on the other side of the carriage because of the force. Everyone was surprised by Harry's sudden outburst. Usually, he is not this aggressive. He doesn't want to get into a fight unless he doesn't have any option. This stunned them, even Daphne. What happened here? Percy Weasley, the head boy asked, rushing to the scene. It was his last moments as head boy, as he completed his graduation as the topper of the class as he desired. He doesn't want anything to go wrong at this point, as that will look bad on his profile. Malfoy slipped and hit the window when he tried entering the carriage, Harry said, and Percy turned to others for confirmation. They blankly nodded, unable to comprehend what Harry just did. Though he thought it was too good to be true, he nodded in satisfaction and moved Malfoy using his goons to the makeshift hospital wing on the train. As soon as Percy left, all in the carriage turned to Harry, who was innocently whistling, staring at the window. What's that, Harry? Hermione loudly demanded. What's what? I'm enjoying the scenery here. Harry innocently pointed to the moving mountains and river from the window. Though Daphne wanted to prod more, hearing the weary sigh of others, she understood that it would be useless. They all silently contemplated what happened, which gave the raven-haired boy peace of mind. He didn't expect Malfoy to be that sensitive. Weak. Kids here are way weaker compared to the shinobi world, Naruto thought. Though that gives him an unfair advantage as he is stronger than them. Naruto was always physically stronger than his peers even in Konoha, but the students here are weaker than his friends. He noted to be careful with people in future. There was a loud chatter about the Quidditch World Cup, which Harry knew was going to take place in Britain that year, but he was sad that he couldn't go there. Ron had many things he wanted to talk about with Harry, but the incident with Malfoy threw a wrench into everything. Rest of the journey was silent, and they soon reached King's Cross Station. Everyone moved to their respective family, who came to receive them on the platform. Harry knew where his family would be and walked into the station's parking. Silently storing all his luggage in the car's trunk, Harry sat in the car. How long will you bother us this time, boy? Vernon asked in a disinterested tone. Not waiting for Harry's reply, he continued. Don't try anything freakish in my house, is that clear? Vernon glared at Harry as he sat in the back seat without replying. Daddy, let's go home and play with apple pie, Dudley asked, not bothering to greet Harry. Definitely Diddykins, Vernon said with a happy smile. Harry was pretty comfortable in the back seat, as only he and Petunia sat in it. Both father and son are struggling in the front. Though Harry didn't understand who this apple pie is, he assumed it to be some pet name as he knew Dudley was not smart enough to know many other names than food. With many groans and pointless comments, their journey to the privet drive was uneventful. As soon as they reached the house, the family's demeanor took a 360, moving all of Harry's luggage and caring for Harry as they walked in. As the main door was shut, everything was thrown away instantly without a care in the world. Harry is angry. Scratch that. Naruto is angry. He expected these people to have changed a bit. But no, they didn't. Apple pie. Dudley called and down came a black dog. The canine was strong with a strong build and with its one-of-a-kind misty silver eyes. Harry instantly recognized those eyes. Go play with him, boy, Dudley said to Apple Pie, and expected the dog to bark and chase Harry for his life. But none of Dursley's expectations followed. Apple Pie made a sprint towards Harry, who opened his arms to welcome the dog, and in a second, the dog in front of them changed into a man. A man they remembered seeing. Padfoot, Harry said as they hugged. I missed you a lot, pup, Sirius said with tears falling from his eyes. He thought Harry died when he didn't sense any life when he was in the hospital wing. He didn't have much time as he had to escape. Sirius thought long and hard about how he can meet Harry, and when he was passing a village, he saw a family play with their dog. And with a clear destination in mind, he made his way to Privet Drive. He knew where Lily's sister lived as he tried talking to Harry nearby last summer. It was not that hard to impress Dudley to take him. He just barked at everyone Dudley is pointing at and got the attention of the mini whale. Soon he was brought into their home and became their pet. As he doesn't hold any ill intentions towards Harry, the protection of Lily didn't stop Sirius from entering. Though he didn't like being a pet to the Dursleys, its purpose has been served. He reached Harry. This is the moment he was waiting for. It's a big relief seeing Harry in good health. I missed you as well, Padfoot. NNNNOOOOOOOO. Petunia screeched in horror. What is the meaning of this? Vernon's face filled with rage. Mom, Dad, where is Apple Pie? Dudley asked his parents in sorrow. He liked the dog as it gave him a sense of superiority over other kids. Call the police, honey. Petunia yelled, and Vernon, quickly, made his way to the telephone. But Sirius is faster than him and the telephone is broken before Vernon can reach it. He is careful to not use magic as he knows the implications it will have on Harry, and it's hard for him to use it as well. I had enough of your bullshit, Dursleys. I can't imagine what you have put Harry through, but I'll promise you hell if you try something funny now. I'll take Harry and leave. I don't want him with you any longer, Sirius said in a serious tone. Vernon's and Petunia's expressions changed from their rage to relief. Wonderful. You should have told us that earlier. You can leave with that free boy immediately, Vernon said in a happy tone. He was about to say freak and heard Sirius growl and changed it. Remember, Petunia, I know your house. I'll hunt you down if any of this is shared with others. He warned, and Harry was too happy to say anything. He was thinking of ways to escape his summer, and lucky for him, Sirius is here to save the day. Petunia gulped at that and nodded. Harry released Hedwig and packed all his essential things into Dudley's bag. Sirius took £1,500 from them for expenses, and Dursleys felt that was a small price to pay to get rid of the boy. He changed into his animagus form, and soon, Harry left number 4 to take Apple Pie for walking with a bag. Unknown to Mrs. Figg, Harry left Privet Drive permanently with that. Sirius explained Harry his plan of moving to his house at number 12, Grimmauld Place, London with him. Harry is excited about that, and so he happily followed Padfoot to his house. Soon they reached an unassuming Muggle building with windows. The dog stopped there, and Harry was confused by it. He can't see anything there, even some entrance to go through. Sirius took him into an alley and changed into his human form. Can't see anything, pup. Harry nodded. That's because it is protected by the Fidelius charm. Let me show you, Sirius said and whispered into Harry's ear. I invite Harry Potter into the residence of the ancient and noble House of Black, and henceforth allow him see and get into it. And with that, an old building revealed itself to Harry. It appeared, pushing aside its neighboring houses, number 11 and number 13, out of the way as it appeared between them. The house had a worn set of front steps leading to a battered front door. On the door was a silver knocker in the shape of a twisted serpent, but it had no keyhole, handle, or anything else that would indicate it to be a door, as it opened only by magic. My grandfather put every security measure known to wizard kind on it when he lived here. It's unplottable, so muggles could never come and know. He went as far as using the Fidelius charm on it in his paranoia. All members of the Black family shared the secret, and so they can invite anyone to the home. Come to think of it, I should have used my house for your parents' hiding. But because of my mother, I didn't. Sirius explained sadly as the door opened magically, allowing them in. There was a doorbell, a loud, clanging bell that awakened Walburga Black, Sirius's mother portrait inside. Sirius is apprehensive about bringing Harry here as he knew how vocal his mother can be. But he decided to go ahead as he didn't want Harry to spend any more time with the Dursleys. He also had a plan for how to shut her up if need be. Harry, as we enter, you'll see my mother's portrait, don't listen to anything she says. She has many dislikes, he warned, and Harry nodded. He is surprised by the dark and gloomy look of the place and walked in. In the dark and gloomy hall of the Black family's ancestral home, a portrait of Walburga Black hung on the wall. As Harry and Sirius walked by, they could hear her shrill voice ringing out. Well, Walburga sneered. Look what the cat dragged in. If it isn't my bastard of a son, Sirius, and the filthy half-blood he towed. She hissed. Though Sirius didn't know how she found out that Harry is not pureblood, he didn't want to think about it. Harry gave her a perplexed look, but Sirius merely rolled his eyes. Hello, Mother, he said wearily. Still hanging around here, I see. Walburga's eyes flashed with anger. How dare you speak to me in such a manner, you backstabbing blood traitor, she spat. I am a pure-blooded witch, a member of one of the most esteemed families in the wizarding world. And you, Sirius Black, are a disgrace to that name. Sirius chuckled. Coming from you, that's quite the compliment. Walburga's face twisted with fury. You insolent brat, she screeched. You and that filthy little friend of yours have no place in the wizarding world. You're nothing but a troublemaker, bringing shame to the Black family name. You are not worthy of being the lord of this noble house. Lord, you say, Mother. How wonderful. You know I wasn't aware of that, Sirius said with a smug smirk which made Walburga's eyes widen in realization. But as you so kindly put it, I'm not worth it. Now that should be rectified. I know. I will make Harry the next head then. How do you feel then? Don't you think it will be quite an irony? Sirius taunted Walburga. Walburga snorted derisively and retorted, You imbecile. How shamefully you tarnish the very blood that fuels your existence. And now, you wish to further degrade our name by granting this mudblood the lordship. Preposterous. He will never be deserving. I wish to sever any association with you both. Creature, she called, and with a pop, an old house elf with a wrinkled, old face appeared. How can Creature serve my lady? He asked in a raspy tone. Expel these two ungrateful bastards from my eyes, she ordered, and Creature turned to Harry and Sirius, his hands up with magic. Harry's wand is in hand in seconds as he braced himself for the attack. I, Sirius Orion Black, do solemnly swear on my life and magic, to uphold the duties and responsibilities as Lord of the ancient and noble House of Black, he intoned, his voice echoing in the hall. I vow to protect, serve, and lead my house with courage, wisdom, and honor. He said, air thick with magic, as house magic started judging Sirius' worth to the lordship, and soon a black ring with Black family crest appeared on his right ring finger. Walburga's eyes were a blaze of fury, but before she can speak, Sirius continued. Harry was watching in amazement while Creature was watching helplessly. Let it be known, he announced with newfound determination, that this house will no longer stand for the old ways. We are reborn today, as a house that stands for justice, love, and loyalty. A roar of applause thundered in the room. Sirius looked around, his gaze once again landing on Harry. The boy was smiling, clapping enthusiastically. As Sirius met his eyes, he knew he made the right choice and continued. I, Sirius Orion Black, as the rightful lord of the ancient and noble House of Black, do hereby declare and affirm that Harry James Potter shall henceforth be recognized as my sole heir and successor to the esteemed position of Lord of House Black. For the ancient and noble traditions of our esteemed house, I hereby bestow upon him the revered heirship of House Black, to be treated as such by all who recognize his rightful claim. I do solemnly swear this oath, so mote it be," Sirius said in a confident tone, and the room was lit with a bright light. A silvery black glow covered both Harry and Sirius, the house magic ensuring that Harry is worthy, and after a few seconds, the glow left with a ring appearing on Harry's right ring finger. Both rings are obsidian with the black crest in the middle, with Harry's having a H for heir. Harry felt disoriented by the sudden magic surge, and after a few seconds, he adjusted to the new feeling of being tied to the place. Walburga and Creature watched in horror as the family magic accepted Sirius's words and recognizing Harry as the heir to House Black. Sirius himself has officially become Lord Black. Being called Lord and recognized as Lord is two different things, which Walburga and Creature knew. Even though her husband was Lord Black, Arcturus Black was recognized as the Black, which shows their difference to command the house magic. Recognition comes with access to everything that relates to the house, and the names will be automatically updated in all magically tied house activities from Gringotts to Ministry of Magic. Being recognized by the house magic to be worthy of lordship gives many perks as well. Though it was a foolish act by Sirius, who did it to taunt his mother than anything serious, pun intended, he never could have fathomed the consequences of his action. Only time will show him. Sirius was one of his doggish smirks to Walburga, while Harry was surprised by all of it. He didn't expect this when he left Privet Drive. Walburga screeched in terror as her son did the very thing she never wanted to happen to House Black and went silent. Creature, on the other hand, was bombarded with the new heir's magic and his potent will. He is Harry Potter. He knew the boy as he likes to keep his mistress up to date with wizarding affairs. He didn't expect the defeater of the Dark Lord to possess such strong magic. As a house elf, he has a deep connection with the house magic, which allows him to be summoned and bound to the house. As soon as the house magic accepted Harry Potter, now Black, he felt a strong magic suppress his disobedience to the child. He knew that magic is Harry's, as he didn't feel any such pressure from Sirius, as he is passively Unothed, the lord of the house for many years. He unconsciously gave an involuntary bow to his now oathed lord and his new heir and vanished to clean the house to make it suitable for the lord and his heir. "Whoa, Sirius, you think it's needed?" he asked his dogfather, who was smugly looking at his mother's closed portrait. Walburga couldn't bear what she witnessed and hid behind the curtain. "Sirius, you think it's necessary?" Harry asked again, poking the older man with his hand. Sirius turned to him with a wide smile. "Of course, pup. I don't want my house to fall into Malfoy's hands, and this adds a layer of security to you and also allows me to better protect you. I don't want to lose another member of my family, Harry," Sirius said with tears forming at the edges of his eyes. Harry hugged the older man. "In addition to that, you are worthy of being the heir. That's why you are accepted. Don't doubt your capabilities, pup," he said, ruffling Harry's raven locks. Harry looked up joyfully into Sirius's misty grays. "Dadbeo, old man," Harry said with a cheer, and Sirius laughed at the weird word. "Harry, yay, I want to teach you something," Sirius said, and Harry's emeralds looked at him in curiosity. He started roaming across the entrance, taking everything in the ancient house. "How about you learn protecting your mind?" "Protecting mind?" Harry asked in surprise. "Yes, it's called occlumency," Sirius affirmed. "Sounds like fun." Harry gave him a smirk and they both started. Though Sirius thought of starting with Animagus, as Harry became his heir, he thought mind protection is important now. "You are worthy of being House Black heir, Harry. That's why you are accepted by the house magic. Don't doubt your capabilities, pup," Sirius said, ruffling Harry's raven locks. Harry looked up joyfully into Sirius's misty grays. "Dadbeo, old man," Harry said with a cheer, and Sirius laughed at the weird word. "Harry, yay, I want to teach you something," Sirius said, and Harry's emeralds looked at him in curiosity. He started roaming across the entrance, taking everything in the ancient house. "How about you learn to protect your mind?" "Protecting my mind?" Harry asked in surprise. "Yes, it's called occlumency," Sirius affirmed. "Sounds like fun." Harry gave him a smirk and they both started exploring the house. Though Sirius thought of starting with Animagus, as Harry became his heir, he thought mind protection is important now. The 1st of July 1994. On the warm summer evening of July, in Grimmauld Place, Harry found himself seated in the Black House study, facing Sirius across a worn-out wooden table. Despite the gravity of the situation, Harry couldn't help but feel a rush of excitement. His takeover of Harry's body has sparked a thirst for magical knowledge, and he is eager to learn more. "Harry," Sirius began, his expression serious, "the art I'm about to teach you is advanced magic, not typically taught to students. It's even called dark by some. As I told you, it's called occlumency." Sirius started. After Harry agreed to the lessons last night, Creature appeared with the news that dinner is ready. Though surprised, Sirius nodded and they had a peaceful dinner with happy tales and laughter. Creature, Sirius noticed, is being very respectful to them, and he observed the old elf looking at Harry with reverence as if he is the second coming of Merlin himself. Though amused, Sirius thought of getting to the end of it when he is more relaxed and rested, and so they both went to the two usable rooms in the house, the master bedroom for Sirius and Rab bedroom for Harry. After a good night's sleep, he woke at midday, though Sirius heard some sounds throughout the whole morning as if someone was exercising and walking around the home. After a good bath, it was evening. He walked into the kitchen and had something to eat and now sat face to face with Harry to train him in occlumency. Harry tilted his head, the unfamiliar term piquing his interest. "Occlumency. What does it do, Padfoot-sensei?" That made a barky laughter out of Sirius. With a happy laugh, he explained. "Occlumency is the magical art of defending your mind against external penetration. It shields your thoughts, your memories from others." Harry's eyes slightly widened. Mind defense is not a new concept for him. He saw how powerful genjutsu can be, and having too much chakra, he couldn't for the love of Kami come out of it if he was caught in one. Though this sounds like a good counter to it. With eagerness, he asked, "Why would I need to learn this?" He asked with more curiosity than ignorance. Sirius leaned back in his chair. "You are unique, Harry. Some might want to take advantage of your situation, to peer into your mind and use it against you, or just to use you. And believe me, in the wizarding world, the battles aren't just physical. They can be mental, too. Naruto can understand that and even relate to that." With the determination that would make Hashirama proud, he asked Sirius to continue. Sirius took it as his cue to start. "Clear your mind, Harry. Your thoughts, emotions, they are doors for potential intrusion. You must learn to close them, to control them." Harry nodded in understanding and Sirius continued. "Step 1 is understanding your mind. The first step is understanding the workings of the mind." Sirius explained. "The mind is like a fortress with many doors. These doors represent your thoughts, memories, and emotions. An occlumen learns to close these doors, to control the access. Next step is meditation and clearing the mind. The next phase involves meditation. Clearing your mind is the first step towards shielding it," Sirius said. To explain this practically, Sirius asked Harry to sit quietly and clear his mind of all thoughts, to focus on his breathing, and let his mind become a blank slate. This exercise required patience and persistence, as Naruto was used to the constant chatter of his thoughts and has too much energy. But after many attempts failed, he decided to observe his magic chakra instead of just breathing, and that managed to do the trick. He is able to clear his mind of all thoughts and just focus on the flow and feel of his magic. To say he liked it would be an understatement. Naruto loved the feeling it gave. It's like this raging river trying to come out at moment's notice with his command. But when he touched it, his magic calmed like a serene lake. After letting Harry concentrate for a few minutes, Sirius tapped him on his shoulder and got a sting. He was surprised by the charge of Harry's magic got just a few minutes of focus, but Harry's eyes opened and the relief and clarity he saw in those eyes made Sirius's day. "Loved the feeling?" he asked with a knowing smirk, and Harry nodded with a wide smile. "Good. Let's continue. Step 3 is building mental shields. This is the toughest part. For this, I have to test you using the intrusion spell. I promise to not look any further than needed when we reach the stage." Sirius defensively explained before Harry can protest. "You are thinking too deeply into it, Padfoot. I can understand it's part of the training, and trust me, I've experienced worse," he said darkly, a certain white-haired man pushing him into the creek coming to mind. Sirius was taken aback by this, but knowing Harry's history to save him, he nodded in understanding and continued. "Next step is organizing your thoughts. This is where you will organize your thoughts and memories, categorizing them and making them easier to manage and shield. He further elaborated on dividing them into mental chambers and locking them against intrusion. Now you will be strengthening your defenses. This will be done using your will and intent. Imagine the strongest object, animal or even door guarding your thoughts, and once I confirm you have strong shields, I'll use my strongest legilimens and test it. He said, and Harry nodded. Generally, occlumency training stops here as you got strong metal defenses to stop any intrusion, but in the last war, me and James came up with this last step. Controlled access, Sirius said in a grandiose pose, and Harry leaned forward eagerly. Sometimes, the best defense is to mislead the enemy, Sirius explained. This step required the highest level of control and understanding of one's own mind. So pup, your training is complete when you thoroughly mislead me about your love interests. Sirius said with a satisfied smirk, and Harry gave him a blank look. Look at that, you learn fast, already giving me blank faces, he said, and heartily hugged Harry. They both laughed at the insane regimen Sirius planned and were interrupted by a pop. They turned to see Creature appear with a tea tray. The tray was lowered to the table and he was holding 2 envelopes in his gnarled hands. Master Harry, letters for you from the ministry, the house elf croaked, handing them to Harry, ignoring Sirius completely. Harry took the letters and looked at the envelopes before opening them. He was surprised that it was from the ministry and looked at Sirius, who was sitting in an armchair and already sipping tea Creature brought for them. Sirius, it's from the ministry, he said, and saw the old man walk up to him. He gestured Harry to open the letter and both of them read it. Ministry of Magic, Department of Magical History and Heritage. The 1st of July 1994. Dear Sirius Black, I hope this letter finds you in good health. I write to you today in my capacity as the head of the Department of Magical History and Heritage, to formally convey to you our decision regarding your hereditary title and family assets. As you may have known, on the 30th of June 21, 16 hours somewhere in London, your claim to Black House Lordship was received by the Ministry of Magic and hence investigated. It is my duty to inform you that, effective immediately, the Ministry recognizes you as Lord Black, the rightful Lord of the House of Black, and your heir. Your heir's name will be confidential, as it is up to you to disclose it, and only I know as of now. Thus, it has been decreed that all rights, privileges, and assets associated with the title of Lord Black are to be restored to you. These include the Black family vault at Gringotts, the Black ancestral home, and all other properties and assets associated with the House of Black. Even though you are still a wanted criminal, it is our department's duty to ensure the safety of all ancient and noble houses of magical Britain, and so you will be given a rightful trial on the 21st of July at 9 o'clock hours in courtroom 7. We at the department hope that you will be in time for the trial and exercise your right as Lord Black. I assure you, you won't be arrested when you show up in the ministry, and if need be, I'll personally accompany you. Should you need assistance in understanding the various aspects of your restored status and trial, please do not hesitate to contact the Department of Magical History and Heritage. We can provide you with a detailed account of your family lineage, as well as the responsibilities and expectations that come with your title. Any letters addressed to the head of the Department of Magical History and Heritage will reach me if you feel uncomfortable writing to the department. Yours sincerely, Evelyn Rosier, Head of the Department of Magical History and Heritage. Ministry of Magic. Single quote. They were surprised. Sirius was looking at the parchment as if it were the most precious thing. A stray tear fell from his eye. He didn't expect a turn of events like this, and he honestly took the oath to infuriate his mother. He felt Harry's firm grasp on his shoulder with a happy smile. Well, I didn't see that coming, Sirius muttered, his gray eyes reflecting a mix of surprise and resentment. He scrubbed his face with his hand. I've spent most of my life running away from that title. To think it would allow me to be free, unimaginable. Creature, who had been standing silently by the door, finally speaks. Creature remembers when the noble House of Black was one of the most respected families. Perhaps this is a chance to restore its honor, Blood Trader Master. Sirius scoffs, and what honor would that be, Creature? The honor of bigotry and pureblood supremacy. Creature cringed. Creature only meant that the Blood Trader Master could use the lordship to make things right. He said, glancing at Harry. Harry interjected, he's got a point, Sirius. You could use the influence and resources to be free. Sirius looked up, and that's when he remembered. He got a shit-eating smirk. Now I have to send a letter. he said with a victorious smirk. Harry raised an eyebrow. Sirius quickly took some parchment and quickly started scribbling something. Finally, with the black family crest, he sealed it. Creature, take this to Andromeda Tonks and tell her it's my official invitation to family house. Only come back with her reply. Is that clear? He asked in a commanding tone and Creature nodded. Though Sirius didn't trust the elf, he knew Creature will do this as he ordered in his official capacity of Lord Black. Sirius sighed. I suppose I'll have to get used to being called Lord Black now. Merlin, help me. Harry laughed at his disgruntled face. That's when he turned to his wand and frowned. Sirius was complaining about all the fake respect everyone will show him once his innocence is proven. Padfoot, he called and got a hem from the man. He picked up his wand and showed him. Harry looked nervously at Sirius, gripping his wand tightly. His usually loyal Holly and Phoenix Feather wand had been unresponsive lately, much to his frustration and confusion. There's something wrong with my wand, Harry said in a wavering tone. Sirius, who was sitting across from him, looked up from his complaining, his brow furrowed with concern. What do you mean, Harry? He asked, perplexed. My wand, it's not working properly, Harry confessed. He flicked his wand as if to demonstrate, but nothing happened. See, nothing. I don't understand why. A thoughtful look crossed Sirius's face. Did anything unusual happen recently, Harry? Something that could affect your magic? Harry thought back. Of course, it did. Naruto took over Harry's body after all, and it's not normal even in this magical world so far, he observed. He can't say it, can he? That's when he remembered it. The Dementors. His mind made a plan. Well, nothing. Except for the Dementors thing. He stopped with a sigh as it was a sensitive topic and got an understanding look from Sirius. Well, Sirius said, leaning back into his chair. Wands are mysterious things, aren't they? But they're also very personal. They're tied to our magic, our emotions, everything that makes us who we are. I'm not an expert, but I'd say, perhaps something changed in you to make your wand reject you. He said in a thoughtful tone. Not a problem. We will meet one of my family wandmakers to correct that tonight. He said with a roguish smirk. Harry was surprised by that. Harry stopped himself, knowing that this would only make the man even happier, and shut up. Sirius's smirk widened at that. Come on, pup. I promise I won't be caught. I should get a wand either way. This old wand doesn't work for me anymore. He said, waving around a wand, and Harry relented at that. We're going to meet our family wandmaker, Emmerich the Eldritch, Sirius replied, his tone carrying a touch of respect and anticipation. Eldritch, Harry echoed, a curious look on his face. Yes, Emmerich Eldritch. He's been crafting wands for the Black family for generations, Sirius explained. The Black family had a long history steeped in magic and tradition. Among our various connections, one of the most noteworthy was our private wandmaker. While Ollivander's was the popular choice, pure-blood families often preferred to have their wands made by a personal wandmaker who understood their lineage and magical nuances. He explained in detail and readied. Soon both of them walked out of Grimald Place towards Diagon Alley, Harry changing himself into Naruto, and with his black dog in tow they started. Though Sirius was surprised, he decided to ask about Harry's metamorphagus ability later. Sirius was a perfect dog, barking like a good dog, and even more when they were close to beautiful women. Due to Naruto's whiskers, they got a lot of attention and Sirius reveled in it. He even got many pats from women as a reward. Instead of going to the bustling Diagon Alley, they steered off into the sketchy Nocturne Alley and then took a left and entered the Grimoire Road and followed the few and far between shops and entered a good-looking Muggle store. As they walked in, the scent of various woods and magical ingredients filled their senses. Shelves lined with various tools and materials hinted at the craftsmanship that occurred within these walls. At the center of it stood an old man. Harry presumed him to be Emmerich Eldritch. With his flowing white beard, twinkling eyes, and a capacious cloak draped over his stooped frame, he looked every bit the archetypal wizard. A lifetime of crafting wands had given him a weathered, yet kind, countenance. His hands, though gnarled and old, were steady and displayed an elegant finesse when handling his precious creations. Emmerich, Sirius greeted, extending a hand. It's been a while. The old man peered at them through his half-square glasses, a smile spreading across his face. Ah, Sirius. It has indeed, he replied, his voice a rich baritone taking Sirius's hand. His gaze shifted to Harry, interest lighting his eyes. And who might this be? Taking a deep breath, Sirius launched into the strange tale of Harry and his peculiar predicament. Emmerich listened patiently, nodding at times. The wizarding world was no stranger to oddities, and while Harry's story is unique, Emmerich is intrigued more than anything. He knew of Harry Potter, of course. He didn't expect the kid to show up in his shop. He also knew Sirius's predicament. Though the ministry threatened harsh actions against anyone cooperating with him, he didn't care. He stood with House Black for generations and he is not going to change it now. When Sirius finished, Emmerich studied Harry for a few moments before gesturing for him to follow. Let's see what we can do for you, young man. In the heart of Emmerich's magical workshop, a vast collection of wand materials awaited. From dragon heartstring to phoenix feather, from unicorn hair to thestral tail hair, from holly to yew, each wand ingredient had its unique energy. Harry, under the watchful eyes of Sirius and Emmerich, began the process of finding a wand that might choose him. He picked up a hickory wand with a dragon heartstring core, giving it a tentative wave. Instead of a magical response, the wand sat lifelessly in his hand. He tried again with a different wand, this time an elm one with a phoenix feather core. Yet, the outcome was the same. As Harry continued his fruitless attempts, Sirius exchanged a concerned glance with Emmerich. Each rejected wand further highlighted the unique predicament they were in. He has a strong magical presence, Emmerich murmured, stroking his beard thoughtfully as he watched Harry try and fail with another wand. Yet, no wand resonates with him. Intriguing. Sirius looked troubled, his gaze fixated on Harry. What does this mean, Emmerich? Is he incompatible with magic? Sirius feared the worst as Dementors are and will be vile creatures. He understands this more from his experience. Emmerich shook his head slowly, peering over his spectacles at Harry. I wouldn't jump to such conclusions, Sirius. Magic, as we know it, is unpredictable and mysterious. We are dealing with a situation that is both unprecedented and puzzling. But every problem has a solution. He nodded sagely. Harry, now holding a willow wand with a troll whisker core, looked at the two wizards, his expression a mixture of frustration and determination. None of them feel right. Sirius put a comforting hand on his shoulder. Don't worry, Harry, we'll find a way. Emmerich nodded, his gaze thoughtful. Indeed, it's a puzzle, my boy, but together we'll piece it. I believe the answer may lie in the essence of who you are. Harry nodded though he is still in Naruto's form. Thus, what should have been a routine visit turned into an unprecedented challenge, testing the wit and patience of both Harry and his guides. Despite the setbacks, Harry remained resolute, his spirit undeterred as he continued his quest for a wand that could truly call him its master. He was fascinated by the different types of wand woods and cores. He didn't see this many in Konoha even though the village is filled with numerous trees. He can smell them, sense them and even understand them to some extent. Just with a mere touch, he can tell if it suits him or not. That's why he is very curious to find the one that fits him. After several unsuccessful attempts, Harry stood before the extensive collection of wands, his mind swirling with uncertainty. Maybe he spoke too soon. Sirius and Emmerich exchanged a glance, both equally puzzled about how to proceed. Perhaps we're going about this all wrong, Emmerich suggested, stroking his beard thoughtfully. Harry, you have the most unique magic I've ever seen. Maybe the wand for you isn't from the usual assortment either. He mused. Harry nodded, his gaze wandering across the various materials and cores to find some that at least remotely tingle him. Then his eyes fell on a peculiar wand placed separately from the others. Emmerich explained to them that it was one of his biggest mistakes. When he tried combining two unsuitable wooden core, this unpredictable wand resulted in how he was ashamed of it as he knew such a combination was never to be made and left it halfway. He feels the wand to be a burden but can't relieve himself of it as its snapping would dishearten him and so he let it stay there. If Naruto remembered it correctly that's a 13-inch English oak, an extremely old oak wand with a thestral tail hair core. Thestral, he remembered Sirius mentioning once, were magical creatures only visible to those who had witnessed death. There was something about this wand that drew Naruto in, its mere presence speaking of untold stories and trials. With a sense of familiarity yet anticipation, he reached out and picked it up. As his fingers wrapped around the wand, a surge of warmth radiated up his arm. The wand quivered slightly, a jet of orange sparks shooting from its tip, illuminating the room with a warm light. A sense of belonging, missing until now, washed over Naruto. The wand felt right, a seamless extension of his being. He gave it an experimental wave and a gust of wind whooshed around the room, ruffling papers and causing Emmerich's capacious cloak to billow dramatically. A gasp escaped Sirius, his eyes wide with disbelief and joy. It chose him, he whispered, a smile spreading across his face. Emmerich looked equally pleased, nodding sagely. Indeed, it seems the wand has chosen its wizard. It's an unusual choice, oak with thestral tail hair core. A wand with such a core is said to be drawn to wizards who are, in some way, touched by death and capable of accepting the inevitability of mortality. And English oak wands are known to be loyal companions, representing strength, courage, and fidelity. Their owners were said to be of powerful intuition and a connection to the natural world. Legend has it that Merlin himself wielded an English oak wand, although there is no concrete evidence as his grave remains undiscovered. Emmerich explained in an impressed tone. You got yourself a strong wand, young man. Let me complete my unfinished work and make some adjustments to support you more. He said slowly to Naruto. Knowing it was unfinished, he nodded. Can I watch? He asked curiously and Emmerich gave him a happy nod. Emmerich took the wand from Naruto's hand and asked him to drop 7 drops of blood on it. With a ritual dagger, Emmerich made a small cut on Harry's finger and Naruto let his blood drop on the wand and watched in fascination as Emmerich took a blackish silver hair and weaved it across the wand and carved many small words he remembered as runes on it. As Sirius went to get a wand, Naruto watched in fascination as slowly all runes glowed golden and seeped into the wand. The wand itself glowed and after a few minutes of intense magic emission, it dimmed and flew into Naruto's extended hand. A strong magical outburst shook the store as Naruto's hand touched the wand. Emmerich and Sirius ran into the room. They saw Naruto wave his wand with it releasing small foxes and thestrals around. What he left before was like a bridge, now he can feel his wand as an extension of his body and magic. Well done, my boy. Are you satisfied now? Emmerich asked and Harry nodded in satisfaction and gave a small bow to Emmerich in respect. No need for all that. Emmerich laughed it off. We are done, Harry. I'm sure you'll be happy to practice with your wand with me from tomorrow as Emmerich just explained to me that your wand likes a good challenge. He said with a smirk and Harry nodded eagerly. Harry whooshed his wand and everything went back to normal in the workshop. It's a real piece of beauty with a large base and a silver body with red streaks across it with small black pins that had the extra thestral hair for support. Harry looked down at the wand in his hand, feeling a profound connection. While he didn't completely understand Emmerich's words, he felt a certain truth in them. So, Sirius began, grinning at Harry, how does it feel to have a wand of your own? Harry returned the grin, a spark in his emerald eyes. It feels right, Sirius. It feels like a new beginning. And so, Naruto Uzumaki, in a body that was not his, found his magical companion, marking a significant milestone on his journey in the wizarding world. With a newfound sense of achievement and the comforting weight of his wand in hand, Naruto stood beside Sirius, ready to bid farewell to Emmerich. Thank you, Emmerich, you've helped me a lot today. Emmerich smiled warmly, patting Harry's shoulder with his weathered hand. I merely provided the tools, my boy. It was your spirit that found its match. Sirius extended his hand, shaking Emmerich's with a firm grip. Emmerich, thank you for your help. This was not a situation we could have predicted. The old wandmaker chuckled, his eyes twinkling behind his half-rimmed spectacles. Predictability is overrated, Sirius. Unpredictable stories are the ones that make history. Sirius smiled, a note of gratitude in his gaze. Still, you've done us a great service today. As long as I can be of help, it's my pleasure, Sirius, Emmerich replied, ushering them towards the door. As they left in their disguise, Emmerich watched the duo disappear into the alley, a knowing smile playing on his lips. Unpredictable indeed, he muttered to himself before returning to his workshop, the echoes of their visit lingering in the air. Harry and Sirius returned to Grimmauld Place without an incident, and though Sirius half expected his mother's threats to greet them, she didn't. Her portrait curtains are still closed and it seems she didn't even notice them walk in. Though an oddity, Sirius didn't complain. "So Harry, how about we eat our dinner and start your training tomorrow?" Sirius asked and Naruto gave him a nod. Noticing how Harry is still using his metamorphagus abilities, Sirius asked, unable to stop himself. "Why didn't you tell me you were a metamorphagus?" He asked and got a perplexed look at that, Naruto tilting his head in confusion. The cuteness of it made Sirius flabbergasted as he can't believe Harry could be this adorable. "Why you don't know what your ability is called?" he stammered, emphasizing on his body, and that seems to have rung a bell in Naruto's mind. I don't." "Okay. No one told me and I only discovered it recently," Naruto said in exasperation. Sirius felt bad asking it now and is about to reassure Harry when a pop interrupted them. Creature appeared all sweaty in front of them with a letter in hand. "Blood Trader Master. Master Harry," he greeted with a bow, his eyes widening a bit as he took Naruto's appearance and handed the letter to Sirius. Before Sirius could open and read it, Creature turned to Naruto. "Master Harry has a letter," Creature said, appearing with the second letter that came with Sirius's one. Both of them can see the large Hogwarts crest on the envelope and curiously opened it. "Dear Mr. Potter, I hope this letter finds you in good health. I write to you regarding your recent academic performance at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. You have indeed shown considerable talent in your studies this year, as reflected in the results of your exams. You have achieved an exceeds expectations E in most of your subjects, which is no small feat and a testament to your hard work and dedication. I praise your hard work and dedication in Dada and congratulate you on achieving outstanding O+. Though I must express my disappointment in your performance in divination, in which you are dreadful D. However, I am particularly concerned about your performance in potions. Though acceptable, A is certainly not a failing grade, it is unlike you to get anything but exceeds expectation E. Given your remarkable potential and past performance in the subject, your recent grade suggests a divergence from your usual level of excellence. At Hogwarts, we strongly believe in the holistic development of our students, but this does not mean neglecting one subject for others. Every subject carries equal importance in shaping a well-rounded wizard. I urge you, Mr. Potter, to reflect upon this. I have seen you overcome much adversity, and this is no different. It is simply a hurdle to be conquered. Remember, greatness is not measured by success alone but also by how we react and adapt to challenges. Professor Snape is a demanding teacher, but he is also fair and just." Naruto and Sirius rolled their eyes at this. He has always been clear that the path to excellence in potions requires rigorous study and unyielding commitment. I advise you to engage in additional study, seek help where needed, and show him your dedication to the subject. Coming to your recent request at Hogwarts, we encourage our students to explore their interests and nurture their skills, and I must say I'm pleased with your choice. Ancient runes is a challenging subject, steeped in magical history and ancient knowledge, that can provide a solid foundation for many advanced magical studies. Your performance in it, despite the last-minute switch, indicates that you not only have an aptitude but a genuine interest in the subject. I applaud you for this accomplishment. You achieved exceeds expectations E in the subject even though you haven't been taught the necessary foundational concepts. Divination, on the other hand, is a subject that is not for everyone, requiring a particular type of insight and intuition. I understand if it didn't resonate with you, and I'm glad you found the courage to pursue another course that might better suit your capabilities. After considering your performance in both subjects, I approve your request to switch from divination to ancient runes. However, such decisions should not be taken lightly, Mr. Potter. The elective courses you choose shape your education and influence your future path. It is essential to think these decisions through thoroughly and discuss them with your professors, advisors, or prefects, who can provide valuable insights and guidance before you take them. As you prepare for your 4th year at Hogwarts, I urge you to remember this advice. Continue to explore your interests, but also respect the structure that Hogwarts curriculum offers. There is wisdom in it. A personal note, Harry, you have shown us time and again your strength and determination, and I do not doubt that you'll make the best of your time at Hogwarts. I eagerly anticipate witnessing your continued academic growth and magical discovery in the upcoming year. Stay safe, and remember, Help will always be given at Hogwarts to those who ask for it. Best regards, Professor Minerva McGonagall, Deputy Headmistress, Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Single quote. Harry and Sirius finished reading the letter. Both of them had a matching grin and laughed for a few minutes at Harry's successful prank on the school. As their laughter subsided, Sirius's eyes turned to the other letter creature left on the table. It's from Andromeda. He understood and unfurled it to read. With barely suppressed anxiety, he started reading the letter. Andromeda's elegant handwriting danced across the page, and as he began to read, her voice seemed to echo in his mind. Dearest Sirius, your letter reached me in both surprise and nostalgia. Creature bringing that letter is another surprise for me. Seeing the elf reminded me of the days I had been part of the family in the old days when things were simple. Though our paths have diverged, and our family bonds have been strained, I cannot ignore the plea in your words nor the innocence in your eyes that I remember so well. I am well aware of your situation and the unjustified actions of the ministry. The years have not dulled my memory of the spirited boy who fought against our family's dark legacy. It is that spirit, that conviction, that drives me to pen this response. Sirius, I will stand with you in the Wizengamot. I will be your voice, your defender, and your family. We will face the shadows of our past together, and we will emerge into the light that awaits. Know that I do this not out of obligation but out of belief in you and the love that once bound us as family. Time and circumstance have not severed that connection. With heartfelt sincerity, Andromeda Tonks. Single quote. Tears welled in Sirius' eyes as he finished reading the letter. The weight of the years, the bitterness of betrayal, and the loneliness of his existence seemed momentarily lifted. Andromeda's words are not merely an acceptance of his request. They are an embrace, a rekindling of family warmth he hadn't felt in over a decade. Her agreement to stand by him is more than a legal commitment, it is an emotional bond, reforged in the crucible of their shared history. At that moment, Sirius felt a surge of hope, not just for his impending trial but for the possibility of healing, of reconnecting with a part of his family that he thought was lost forever. Sirius' eyes returned to the letter, catching a postscript that he had initially overlooked in his overwhelmed emotion. His heart skipped a beat as he read Andromeda's additional words. P.S. Sirius, I believe it is long overdue for us to meet in person and talk, not just as attorney and client, but as family. I will come to Grimmauld Place tomorrow. Let us face our past and look to the future together. Andy. A shiver of anticipation ran down Sirius' spine. The thought of seeing Andromeda again, after all the years and all the pain, is both thrilling and terrifying. She is a link to his past, a reminder of who he once was, and a symbol of a future that could be different. He can almost see her, standing in the drawing room, her eyes filled with the same determination that had always marked her as different from the rest of the Black family. They would talk, reminisce, argue, and perhaps even laugh. They would rebuild what had been broken. The meeting will not be easy. Some wounds needed healing, truths that needed facing, and a shared history that needed reconciling. But in Andromeda's words, Sirius found the courage to take that step. Harry, who is sitting beside Sirius in the dimly lit room, watched his godfather's face as he read Andromeda's letter. He felt an unfamiliar yet profound connection to the moment. Though he is a stranger to the family dynamics of the Blacks, being recently accepted and made an heir to the house, he watched the transformation in Sirius's eyes, the way they softened as he read Andromeda's words, the tear that escaped and trailed down his cheek. Naruto's heart ached with empathy, and the shinobi inside him admired the strength and vulnerability Sirius displayed. He understood the pain of loneliness, the longing for family, and the courage it took to trust again. When Sirius's eyes fell on the postscript, the promise of a meeting and reconciliation, Harry felt a surge of happiness for his godfather. He saw it as a chance for healing, a step towards a future filled with hope and love. He reached over, placing a reassuring hand on Sirius's shoulder. Though the gesture is simple, it is filled with the warmth and understanding that only someone who had walked a similar path could offer. Sirius, Harry began, his voice gentle, this is a good thing, isn't it? A chance to reconnect with someone who cares for you. You deserve that. Sirius looked up, his eyes meeting Harry's, and in them, Harry saw a reflection of his own longing, his own search for belonging. Yes, Sirius whispered, it is a good thing. A very good thing. Harry's smile is sincere, and the bond between them deepened in that shared moment of hope and acceptance. They both understood the value of family in their own ways and had their fair share of experiences. If not for that, Naruto wouldn't have left Mizuki alone without killing. He wouldn't have forgiven Gigi for his deception and lies over the years about his Jinchuriki status, and if not for his forgiving nature, he would have long ago flipped on Kakashi for not teaching him anything but tree walking. Sirius trusted few people, but he trusted them with his life. He didn't expect Peter to be traitorous nor Remus to be ignorant of Harry's situation and James to die on him. And most of all, he didn't think he would ever get himself imprisoned in Azkaban for a crime he didn't commit. Yet here he is, trying his best to care for Harry and thinking of giving his ticket to release a chance to be free. If not for his strong mind, caring nature and love he had for Harry, he would have long gone on his warpath on Pettigrew and killed the rat. He would have gone with it after his second failed attempt in Hogwarts, but remembering Harry, he changed his mind, prioritizing to care for his godson and now magical son. The moment of silence got dragged as the two wizards got lost in their thoughts. After many minutes of silence, Creature appeared with many weird-looking knives and Sirius saw Harry walk up to the elf and try them. Surprised by the whole scene, he watched curiously as Harry threw one of the knives towards a table. It whooshed past them at high speeds and hit the table, off to the side. From Harry's disappointed sigh, he understood that's not where he is aiming. "Thanks, Creature. I'll take them from here. I'm going to bed, Sirius." "Good night," Harry said, levitating the knives with his wand as he walked to his room. Sirius's eyes transfixed on Creature as he once again saw Harry in admiration. Deciding to get some clarity, he called the elf to his side. "Creature, come here." With an inaudible curse under his breath, Creature walked towards Sirius, standing a few feet away from the Black Lord. As he saw the elf stand, not moving any closer, he spoke. "Creature," he began, his voice filled with curiosity. "I want to ask you something. You've been exhibiting a peculiar interest in Harry. I can't help but notice," he said slowly, waiting for Creature's reaction. The house elf paused, his sunken, bead-like eyes narrowed as he observed Sirius from beneath his ragged cloth hat. "Does Blood Trader Master find it displeasing?" he asked, his voice raspy and edged with a long-standing bitterness. "No, not displeased," Sirius clarified, leaning back in his chair. "Just unexpected. I see how you act around Harry. It's not the same way you act with me, for instance." A derisive snort escaped Creature's lips. However, instead of the expected retort, he tightened his grip on the teapot's handle. "Young Master Harry, his magic is different," Creature rasped, his gaze wandering off into the distance, as though he can see something beyond the room's confines. "It's potent, extraordinary. It speaks to Creature. It demands loyalty. And Creature is drawn to it." Sirius quirked an eyebrow, the corners of his mouth twitching into a smile. He found himself intrigued. "So, you're saying Harry's magic compels you? Charms you?" "Charms, compels, whatever Blood Trader Master wishes to call it," Creature retorted gruffly. He then looked Sirius directly in the eyes and added, "Creature can feel it. It's like a beacon, a siren's call. It resonates with something within Creature. It feels right. Its strong and comforting aura makes Creature at ease. Creature be willing to do anything for the young master." He spoke with passion. Sirius is taken aback by the passion in the old elf's voice. The admission hung heavily in the air. Sirius let out a low whistle of appreciation, taking in the elf's words with newfound respect. He is not one for magical theory or the best at anything other than transfiguration and Dada, but he too understood that Harry's magic is not only formidable, but it also draws anyone towards him with its gentle and caring aura, as Creature put it. Hearing it from Creature is just the cherry on top for Sirius. Maybe that's why he is feeling a lot more confident and positive about his whole situation. Sirius had suspected as much when he noticed the differences between the Harry who helped him in Hogwarts and the Harry living with me. While that Harry is doubtful about things and shy to do things, this Harry is loud, cheerful and doesn't shy away from doing anything. He dared to say this Harry is unpredictable compared to the meek boy he met in Hogwarts. Everything about him screams confidence, and maybe his plan of saving Harry from Dursleys is not a bad one after all. He cracked at that in silent laughter. And now came the matter of Harry's magic. Emmerich talked so highly about it when they left Harry to pick a wand for him. Sirius never heard the old wandmaker talk highly about anyone's magic like that, even his grandfather's, and the man is regarded as the strongest black. Hearing it from Creature, a house elf long sworn to his family, confirmed that Harry Potter is no ordinary wizard. And Sirius promised himself to help Harry as much as he could to make him into the best man he could be. Harry James Potter Black, Sirius reminisced about the newest branch of the Black Tapestry. Harry's face appeared with his bluish-green eyes and messy raven hair on the Black family tapestry as soon as he accepted the black air ring branching off from Sirius. His thoughts then shifted to his impending trial. Andy's support definitely relieved the Black Lord, as he doesn't want to be imprisoned again. Not when he has Harry to care for. He promised himself to not abandon his godson, now son, in any circumstance. With the steel resolve of a war veteran, Sirius went to sleep, excitedly looking forward to training Harry and anxious for Andy's arrival. The 2nd of July 1994. Morning light streamed through the windows of Grimmauld Place as Harry started his rigorous routine. The intense physical training from his ninja life still coursed through him, and he found solace in the familiar movements. However, the combination of his enhanced strength and the fragile foundation of the old and uncared Black family home soon led to an unforeseen mishap. During an intense leap, the floor beneath him gave way with a resounding crack, and he tumbled down, landing directly on the infamous portrait of Walburga Black. The sound of splintering wood and tearing canvas echoed through the house, followed by a deathly silence. The incessant shrieking of Walburga Black is no more. Stunned, Harry picked himself up from the debris, relatively unharmed, his heart pounding as he realized what happened. The once fearsome portrait lay in ruins, its menacing glare silenced forever. The door burst open, and Sirius rushed in, his eyes wide with shock. "Harry, what happened?" he exclaimed, taking in the destruction. "Sirius, I didn't mean to," Harry stammered, "I was just exercising," and then the floor. Sirius's eyes fell on the shattered remains of his mother's portrait, and much to Harry's surprise, a smile slowly spread across his face. "Well, I can't say I'll miss her screams," he chuckled. Before they could discuss it further, the ragged figure of Creature appeared in the room, his eyes going wide as he saw the destroyed portrait. His initial shock, however, quickly turned into something else, something unexpected: satisfaction. "Master Harry has done a great deed," Creature said, his voice tinged with reverence. "Creature is grateful." Harry and Sirius exchanged surprised glances. The loyalty Creature had towards the portrait of Walburga Black had always been unshakable. The elf following all orders of the long-dead Lady Black. "Creature?" Sirius asked, his voice soft. "You're not angry?" "Creature sees Master Harry's strength and goodness," the house elf replied, his eyes on Harry. "Creature knows Master Harry means well. The old mistress's reign is over." Silence fell over before Sirius's laughter broke it. Harry looked at Sirius and Creature in confusion before he threw the remains of the portrait and went back to his exercises. As he exercised, Sirius clapped Harry on the back, his eyes twinkling. "You know, I never thought I'd see the day when that portrait would be gone. And Creature, well, that's another pleasant surprise. Seems like you're bringing about quite a change in this old house, Harry," he said, ruffling Harry's raven locks. Harry smiled, feeling a sense of accomplishment and belonging. The destruction of the portrait became more than an accident. It is a symbol of transformation, for him, for Sirius, and for Grimmauld Place itself. As the day rolled, the residents of Grimmauld Place completed their breakfast, and as Sirius and Harry are about to delve into their first lesson of occlumency, when Creature appeared in a pop in the study. "Blood Trader Master, Mistress Tonks has arrived and is requesting entrance," he said, and Sirius rushed to the entrance of the house to greet his long-separated cousin. His hand trembled slightly as he reached for the handle. With a deep breath, he opened the door. Andromeda stood on the threshold, her posture regal but her eyes soft, filled with understanding and compassion. Time has touched her hair with streaks of silver, but the determination in her gaze is as fierce as ever. "Sirius," she said, her voice filled with warmth as she stepped into the house. "Andromeda," Sirius replied, his voice catching in his throat as he embraced his cousin. They stood there for a moment, a silent acknowledgement of all that had passed and all that was yet to come. Finally, Sirius pulled away, gesturing towards Harry. Andromeda, I'd like you to meet Harry. He's my godson and as of recently, my son as well. Sirius said with a mischievous grin. Andromeda got a suspicious look at that, but she pushed it to the side to greet the young man. Harry extended his hand, his eyes meeting Andromeda's. It's an honor to meet you, he said, his voice sincere. Andromeda's eyes twinkled as she took his hand. The pleasure is mine, young man. I've heard much about you. They moved into the sitting room, the atmosphere growing more comfortable as they settled into plush chairs. Creature appeared with a tray of tea and biscuits, his demeanor respectful and his eyes still showing a newfound loyalty to Harry. Over cups of steaming tea, they exchanged pleasantries, catching up on years of missed memories and shared experiences. Soon, afternoon rolled in without progress on any front as the cousins spent reminiscing everything that happened. The afternoon's golden glow fell over the sitting room. The conversation shifted to lighter matters, yet an unspoken understanding lingered in the air. Realizing things are not moving forward, as he couldn't bring up the courage to change the topic of discussion to his trial, Sirius decided to clear a few things. He has been thinking about this since he escaped. He couldn't allow his favorite cousin to be a stranger to him any longer, and with resolve, Sirius's eyes met Andromeda's, and he cleared his throat, the weight of the moment settling upon him. Andromeda, there's something I've been meaning to do, he said, his voice filled with conviction. It's long overdue, and I can't think of a more fitting time. He rose from his chair, his posture resolute as he turned to face the ancient tapestry of the Black family tree. Andromeda followed his gaze, her expression a mix of curiosity and anticipation. Though she understood what is going to happen, she held her breath. Sirius extended his hand, his new wand in hand, and the house's magic responded, a tangible energy filling the room as he spoke the words that would undo years of unjust separation. I, Sirius Orion Black, by the ancient unyielding power and authority vested in me as the Lord of ancient and noble House of Black, command the ethereal bonds of our family's magic to heed my call. I henceforth revoke the banishment of Andromeda Black Tonks and her daughter, Nymphadora Tonks, and welcome them back as the daughters of House Black. Let the family magic that govern our lineage recognize their rightful place among us. Sirius commanded in a confident tone, and blackish-green magic swirled to life around him. They shot to Harry, his air ring revealing itself and an orange glow added to the mix, and then reached Andromeda, and another tendril shot to north, searching for the other mentioned member. As the tendril reached her, Andromeda felt highly energized, with the few silvers of her hair repairing themselves into the browns they used to be in her face, gaining a charming glow to it. The feeling is surreal to the Black daughter, and she felt an intense connection to the ancient house and an insuppressible affection for Harry. It's as if the family magic is compelling her to do anything for her, yet she also can feel the warmth that's coming off him. As a trained healer, she can feel magic to a deeper level as it helped her identify and diagnose her patients, and from what she can feel, the Black family magic anchored itself with Harry instead of Sirius, who is the lord of the house. Before she can delve deep into her magic and get an in-depth understanding, a strong magical force hugged her, momentarily disorienting her. Thank you for your support for Sirius, Harry spoke as he hugged Andromeda. Sirius is surprised by it, but feeling the care and gratitude in Harry's voice made him tear up. It took Andromeda a few minutes to settle her thoughts, and she stared at Harry in awe, silently nodding her appreciation to his thanks. The tapestry behind Sirius shimmered, and the names of Andromeda and Nymphadora Tonks were restored, no longer hidden by the stains of exclusion but shining with renewed significance. Edward Tonks was also added beside Andromeda's name, both of them branching to Nymphadora Tonks. Andromeda also noticed a new name branching off Sirius, and her eyes widened in shock. Tears welled in Andromeda's eyes as she reached for Sirius's hand, gratitude and acceptance radiating from her. Thank you, Sirius, she whispered, her voice filled with emotion. Thank you for giving us back our family. Sirius pulled her into a hug, his own eyes misty. No, Andy, thank you for reminding me what family truly means. Harry watched the scene, feeling a profound sense of joy and completion. He really liked the woman. She accepted Sirius's request to meet in a heartbeat, and her gratitude is also genuine. He can feel it, and restoration of Andromeda and Nymphadora to the Black family will also give him more family members to be with. That thought flamed the desire to protect them with his very being in Naruto. He also thanked the Kyuubi for giving him this great life and sending him to this world. creature, who stood to the side, seemed to understand the magnitude of the moment, his eyes shining with a newfound pride as he observed the reconciliation and the reunion of the blood. "So you took him in?" Andromeda asked as the emotion settled, voicing the latest addition to the tapestry. Sirius gave a sheepish look at that. "It was meant as a taunt to my mother. But things changed pretty fast and now I find myself as a member of Wizengamot and got a trial as any honorary member would," Sirius said, emphasizing on the honorary more than necessary. "Speaking of Walburga, where is her portrait? I half expected to hear her beautiful voice to greet me as soon as I entered," Andromeda asked, and Harry gave a sheepish look this time. The late Black Lady made her portrait before she died and had it at the entrance to greet the guests. "I kinda destroyed it in an accident this morning." Andromeda turned to Harry in surprise and Sirius chuckled in amusement at that. Feeling uncomfortable with the topic, Harry walked out of the room, deciding to practice his kunai throwing, and left the adults to discuss the important matters. "He is one lively kid," Andromeda said with a smile, reminiscing about her daughter's childhood. "I know, right? He is the whole reason for all this. Just to rub it on my mother's face I took the oath of Black Lordship and got accepted and made Harry my heir. I feel like he is a blessing to me," Sirius said passionately, and Andromeda nodded, taking everything in. She explained about her family as well, Nymphadora and Edward, what they are doing, and finally the topic of Sirius's trial came up. "What's your plan about the trial, Sirius? How do you plan to prove your innocence?" "I only see one option, to be honest. Veritaserum. Other than that, I don't have another option. At least it's better than pretending I was Imperiist," Sirius said with a sigh. "How about we discuss this with that department head, Evelyn Rosier, right?" Andromeda suggested, and Sirius got a thoughtful look at that. "Sounds like a good idea. Though I'm not sure how she will respond to me now," Sirius said with a stupid grin. "Oh come on, is she one of the women you tried impressing?" Andromeda said in exasperation. He. Sirius gave a weak chuckle at that. Andromeda started writing a letter to Evelyn, asking for her assistance and asking her to meet them in central London at the weekend. She decided to deliver the letter in person to see whether all this is true or just an act by the ministry. "I'll take care of this and come back on Friday to discuss our next course of action. Don't do anything stupid in the meantime," Andromeda said, standing up. "Come on, Andy, I'm a complete gentleman." Sirius barked, only for the Tonks matriarch to roll her eyes. With a last goodbye, she left the black home. After pondering for a few minutes on what to do, Sirius decided to duel with Harry and start his occlumency training and went in search of the raven-haired boy. Thanks.